If you've ever known the perfect meme to drop, but you can't find it, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. Today is going to be Thursday, March 5th, and we're back for some more news. We had Broadcom earnings last night. We had the best day for the NASDAQ in a month yesterday. We have jobless claims data today, and it's the penultimate day to the weekend. So we're going to go ahead and have some more fun here today. We're going to trade the market, trade what is in front of us, cover the movers, the whole 9 yards. We're going to do it all here today. It's great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here today. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Thursday edition for March 5th, 2026, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. I hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. We're back for another market day here today, and I can't think of a group that I would rather be with than this one. Nice to have a whole bunch of returning faces. In fact, Francis is going to be first here today. Morning, Francis. Early bird gets the worm. Really good stuff. Peter, good morning. You never confirmed the meeting here today. Let me know if that's going to work for you. I sent you an invite. Brian, good morning. Welcome back. Crispy Biscuit, good morning. Welcome back. Big Dave, good morning. Welcome back. Yes, that girl, good morning. Welcome back. Astro Kev, it's great to see you. Good morning, traders. Ryan, 13. Oil up again. When is nat gas going to move? Good question. What's the next move for oil, too? Still here. Let's take a look here and see what crude is at. Crude's at 77 here in the pre-market, up another 3.35% here today. Lost Penny, good morning. Good morning to Rage Against the Machine. I loved Rage Against the Machine when I was younger. I had all of I think Evil Empire or whatever, had a lot of their CDs, listened to a lot of that when I was younger. Some nostalgic vibes there. Good morning, Lost Penny. Jim, good morning. Welcome back. Producers locked in and ready to go. Zach, GM to the Benzi gang. I love it, Zach. You sound, based on that, like you're feeling better. I hope that you are feeling better. Welcome back, Zach. Jane, good morning. Welcome back. Corey, good morning. Welcome back. Richard Judge, it's good to see you as always. You know we were going to cue that good vibes music. You know we were going to do that, of course. Buffalo by Bicycle, good morning. Welcome back. Linda, good morning. Welcome back. Whis, good morning. Ed, good morning. Marty, good morning. Marty says, yikes, ice vests are the best invention to wake up. Good morning. Ice vests? I'm not even sure I know what that is. Is it like a cooling vest? Is that, I don't know. I don't know what that is. You'll have to let me know. Day Trader, good morning. Welcome back. And yes, folks, listen to Day Trader, please. Please hit the like. Please help the algorithm grow our community and what we're trying to do here. Appreciate you. Good morning. Marionette, good morning. It's good to have you back. Bernhard, good morning. Welcome back. Creation, good morning. Welcome back. Kelly or two. Good morning indeed. JJ, good morning. It's great to see you as always. Just passing through. Good morning. Robert, good morning. Peggy, good morning. Peggy saying Bitcoin has room up to 77K. Does this bounce continue? Because if so, I think that has implications for the market too, as Bitcoin has been a pretty good risk on, risk off indicator. And a trade up to 77K would mean that it probably feels like risk on today. No? You'll have to let me know what you think there. Pot G. Good morning. Welcome back. What else we got? Jay Harris. Yes, Broadcom. I thought you were going to be excited. I was like, I think Jay Harris is going to be excited here today. It's Broadcom day, or at least after the Broadcom Fallout day. Good morning. Welcome back. It's good to see you. Kenneth, good morning. Welcome back. Good to see you. Buffalo by Bicycle. Good morning. Welcome back. Cam, good morning. Welcome back. Robot to Trade, good morning. Lion, good morning. Yassine, good morning. Edmund, good morning. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. All right, futures under slight pressure here this morning ahead of Thursday's open. It was hanging around unchanged for a lot of the morning until recently, where it's dipped a little bit more. S&P futures down 0.3%, Dow futures down 0.56%, and the NASDAQ down 0.36%. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some cues from last session here. Consumer discretionary, information technology, and communication services stocks recorded the biggest gains and led most S&P 500 sectors to a positive close on Wednesday, though energy and consumer staples ended up bucking that trend. Ongoing conflict in the Middle East remains the primary driver of the significant market volatility as hostilities involving the U.S., Israel, and Iran have escalated throughout the region. This marks the sixth consecutive day of unrest with no clear end in sight. However, the New York Times reports that Iranian leadership has initiated contact with Trump to explore potential ceasefire negotiations. I'm not actually sure where this is because shortly after that, I saw a report that they denied that that was the case. But they also said that they sank one of our carriers. So take it with a grain of salt. We'll see how it all shakes out. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.11%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.56%. The Fed's watch tool is still pricing in a 97.3% likelihood that we leave rates unchanged in March. I actually wouldn't be surprised if that continues into June, as we had discussed earlier this week. We have several stocks in focus for you here today. The first one, going to be the obvious one. This is Broadcom, and the ticker is AVGO. Broadcom jumped 6.6% in the pre-market on Thursday after reporting better than expected financial results for the first quarter of fiscal 2026 after the close on Wednesday. That print is as follows. Q1 adjusted EPS of 205 beat the 202 estimate, and sales of 19.311 billion beat the estimate of 19.195 billion. Broadcom also sees Q2 sales at 22 billion versus the 20.676 billion estimate. So a guide higher there. This is similar to what NVIDIA did, right? They had a good number. They had a good guide. They still ended up trading down. Broadcom here still higher in the pre-market. We'll see if it can hold on to all of that. Closed at 317.5 yesterday, currently sitting at 336.15 here in the pre-market. The next stock on our list is going to be Veeva Systems, and the ticker on this one is VEEV. It rose 11.32% after reporting an upbeat fourth quarter financial results and issuing full year 27 guidance. Those numbers are as follows here. Q4 adjusted EPS of 206 beat the 193 estimate. Sales of 835.95 million beat the estimate of 810.615 million. They see full year 27 adjusted EPS of approximately 885 versus the 858 estimate. So that's a little bit of a raise there. And they see full year sales at 3.585 to 3.6 billion. The estimate was for 3.56 billion. So again, slightly higher there. Veeva Systems sees Q1 adjusted EPS of 213 to 214. That was versus a 206 estimate. And they see sales at 855 to 858 million. That was versus an 847 and change estimate. The next stock on our list is going to be my favorite brick and mortar store. It is Costco. Ticker is COST, and it fell 0.17% as analysts expected to report earnings of $4.56 per share on revenue of $69.26 billion after the closing bell. No new trades for me on this, despite my affinity for the store. I'm still just holding my long-term long position. The next stock on our list is going to be Webull, and the ticker on this one is BULL. Yes, this is the stock that's literally named Bull. Unfortunately, it's trading down 3.13% this morning as it missed quarterly profit targets, and CEO Anthony Denier bet on its AI assistant, Vega. Numbers here for Webull. Q4 adjusted EPS of 4 cents. That was in line. Sales of 165.2 billion did beat the estimate of 160 million exactly. The last stock on our list, get ready for the victory laps, folks. Get ready for the victory laps. The last stock on our list is The Trade Desk, and the ticker on this one is TTD. It surged 16.85% after a Securities and Exchange Commission filing disclosed that President and CEO Jeffrey Terry Green acquired 6,398,089 Class A common shares between March 2nd and March 5th. Now, this is important because we have several folks in here that have been waiting for TTD to turn around. Big time shout out to Lion and Jay Rice, who have recently been on this. Okay, let's take a look at the chart, and then we will take a look at some of those earnings stocks, and then whatever else you folks want to. I suspect with no guest here today, we're going to have plenty of time for ticker time and to get through all of those movers. So if you like small stocks or you like big stocks, do not worry. We should be able to cover them all. Now, looking at the SPY here, where are we at? Stop me if you've heard this before, but we're in about the same area that we've been for months at this point. It does look like we are continuing to trade back up into the chop zone or the washing machine area here of the market, where we just kind of trade back and forth. We traded back down into this little pocket that was denoted by previous all-time high breakouts, now serving as support. We recaptured the 100. We closed above the 100. But yesterday, we did try to test the 20-day moving average to the upside, and we simply did not have the strength to break it. So today, we're currently sitting above the 100-day, but slightly below the 20-day. I would expect one, if not both of those moving averages to be tested here today. We'll see which one holds and which one gives way. Also worth noting, got slightly above that 20-day moving average at 686 and a quarter is going to be the 50-day moving average, and that's sitting in there at 688.34. So that would also represent another possible upside resistance area here today. And if you're going to trade SPY at all, whether it's 0 DTE or just trading the SPY in general, I would think that both of these levels are going to come into play here today. All right, folks, let's take a look at some insights from analysts here. According to BlackRock's March 2026 commentary, the firm maintains a cautiously optimistic yet tactical outlook on the U.S. economy and stock market, driven largely by, quote, megaforces, end quote, like artificial intelligence. Strategists expect the U.S. labor market to remain resilient, which will likely reaffirm the Fed's new hawkish tone and keep interest rates on hold in the near term. While the S&P 500 recently faced its, quote, worst month in nearly a year, end quote, due to inflation concerns and AI-related volatility, BlackRock remains overweight on U.S. equities. They argue that, quote, strong corporate earnings, driven in part by the AI theme, end quote, are supported by a favorable macro backdrop and reduced policy uncertainty. However, they warn that traditional static strategic asset allocation no longer suffices. Instead, they suggest a scenario-based approach to navigate potential outcomes ranging from an AI productivity boom to higher risk premium for U.S. assets caused by geopolitical fragmentation. Ultimately, though, BlackRock favors being granular, noting that the AI build-out keeps rolling on while staying alert to sticky inflation that may limit future rate cuts. Now, as far as economic data here today, we are expecting, the initial jobless claims for the week ending February 28th, the fourth quarter U.S. productivity report, and January's import price index data. That should be out here in the next 17 minutes. And we'll check in on that when that comes out. Producer, help me out with that if you don't mind, if I'm just rolling through something. We're also expecting Fed Vice Chair of Supervision Michelle Bowman to speak at 1:15, and she is followed by Chicago Fed President Austin Goolsbee, who speaks at 7 p.m. Eastern tonight. Okay, let's go to Broadcom, and you know what we'll do? We'll start with the chart here. So let's go back to Pro real quick. We'll punch up Broadcom, AVGO, and we'll see where we are sitting here today. Now, we talked yesterday about how this was important, not just because it's earnings, but also because where the chart is. And if you'll notice here, this is yesterday's candle. We broke beneath, but didn't break down, and quickly, within a handful of days, tried to recapture this 200-day moving average. Now, with the earnings out of the way, this morning we're gapping up 6.86%, and that is causing the price to not only recapture the 200-day, but also the 20-day and the 50-day. And we recaptured this trend line. We basically drew this line to outline where some of the support levels are. The support level was tested once, twice, thrice, 4 times, 5 times, and then 6 times. It gave out on its 6th time, and then it was tested to the upside. So this previous support area, very clearly resistance, that still holds true here today. So we'll see what we can actually close above here today. Great that we're probing these areas right now, but a lot of this is going to come down to how this candle closes. I just want to remind you again, after NVIDIA put out a really good report, it ended up trading down by like 5% the next day. Definitely something that we want to watch here today, but so far, so good. Looking good here in the morning. Jay Harris, I obviously want to know what you're thinking about in terms of trading this or where we're going to go and all of that. But in addition to that, I would also like the rest of the group. Let me know what you think about Broadcom now with the earnings out of the way, with the chart where it is, with AI still being the biggest theme in the market right now. Do you like, or are you looking to trade this, buy this, swing trade, long investment? Let me know here on Broadcom. Now, let's actually dive into this a little bit. Broadcom reported financial results for the first quarter of fiscal 2026 after the close on Wednesday. They reported first quarter revenue of $19.31 billion, which beat the analyst estimate of approximately $19.2 billion. The company posted adjusted earnings of $205, which beat the estimate of $202. Revenue in the first quarter was up 29% on a year-over-year basis, driven by continued strength in the AI semiconductor solutions. Quote, Q1 AI revenue of $8.4 billion grew 106% year over year, above our forecast, driven by robust demand for custom AI accelerators and AI networking. Our AI revenue growth is accelerating, and we expect AI semiconductor revenue to be $10.7 billion in Q2. That came from Hock Tan, president and CEO of Broadcom. Broadcom's generated approximately $8.26 billion in cash from operations and $8.01 billion in free cash flow during the period. The company exited the fourth quarter with approximately $14.17 billion in cash and cash equivalents. Broadcom expects fiscal second quarter revenue of approximately $22 billion versus the estimate of $20.68 billion. The semiconductor company anticipates second quarter adjusted EBITDA at 68% of projected revenue. Broadcom's board approved a quarterly cash dividend of 65 cents per share that's payable on March 31st to shareholders of record on March 23rd. And Broadcom's management team went and had a conference call. Let me actually check this as well. Yes, not mentioned here that Broadcom also did. They announced a new $10 billion share repurchase program, which is currently helping the stock. So definitely want to know what you think here on Broadcom. Let me take a quick second, see if anyone's given their thoughts here. Tyler, I've been loading up on Avago, all a reason to add more shares here. That's amazing. You must have a long-term outlook on this, and you also still must be bullish on AI. But let me know. Let me know. And yeah, they are new headphones. Let me know if I still sound okay. I should, because the microphone setup is the same. But any feedback, we'll take it. I kind of like them. I like that I don't have the thing over my head. That thing, it was kind of like falling apart a little bit, and it would get some of like the stuff in my hair, and it would itch, and I'd go. Anyway, this is a lot cleaner. I like it. Also, doesn't make me look like I have a bald spot, which is pretty sweet, because I don't. Okay, next piece of news here is actually going to be on IREN. Short seller Jim Chanos sounds the alarm on IREN. $6 billion equity filing questions the silence on a $500 million revenue guidance. Chanos making some more news here, this time with another high flyer here. Renowned short seller Jim Chanos has cast doubt on IREN's massive new $6 billion equity filing, questioning the company's transparency regarding current revenue targets while aggressively scales its at-the-market capacity. On March 5th, IREN filed an updated 424B5 prospectus, significantly expanding its ATM offering capacity to $6 billion. The move replaces a prior $1 billion supplement and represents a staggering capital call equivalent to nearly half the company's current market cap. Chanos took to X to highlight the disconnect between the company's massive dilution and investor expectations. Chanos noted that many investors who own IREN are convinced that a new equity ATM filing means another deal is imminent, end quote. He argued that if a material event were actually on the horizon, it would typically require disclosure concurrent with such a significant equity filing. Jim Chanos, I will say, whatever you think about him is one thing, but this guy does really good research. He's been around for a long time. He knows his stuff, and his research is some of the highest quality out there. I'm going to go ahead and drop the story in here. So if you want to follow through his tweets or any of the other things that he's posting, you should easily be able to do that. Beyond the scale of the offering, Chanos raised red flags regarding IREN's recent financial communications. while the company used the filing to provide sort of raised annual recurring revenue or ARR guidance for the December 2026 quarter, it remains silent on its immediate performance metrics. Specifically, Chanos pointed out that the company neglected to use the opportunity to reaffirm the $500 million digital revenue ARR guidance from the quarter that we are currently in. This omission has sparked concerns among skeptics that the company may be shifting the goalposts towards 2026 to distract from potential near-term headwinds. The filing confirms that IREN has already sold over 66 million shares for approximately $1 billion in gross proceeds under the previous agreement. With the ceiling now raised to $6 billion, the potential for further shareholder dilution is immense. As IREN attempts to pivot its infrastructure from Bitcoin mining towards AI cloud services, the silence on the $500 million near-term ARR target remains a focal point for critics. Shares of IREN have risen 16.07% year to date, while the NASDAQ composite has declined by 1.84% over the same period. The stock was 67.79% higher over the last 6 months and 481.43% over the past year. On Wednesday, the stock closed 12.84% higher at about 43.84. As far as the Benzinga proprietary rankings here, it scores extremely high on momentum. Absolutely still a momentum stock. 98th percentile, actually knocking on the door of the 99th percentile there. It does not have a growth or a quality ranking, and its value ranking down into 23rd percentile. Nobody's trading IREN for value. They're trading it for momentum. Let's be real here. Let's go ahead and actually take a look at the chart real quick on IREN. Since we have the time, might as well also take a look at the chart. IREN down 5.48% here in the pre-market. Let's take a look and see. Start with the daily. So yesterday, a pretty nice move, right? We did try to recapture the 20-day. The last time we were above the 20-day, gosh, we made an attempt right here back at the beginning of February, but that got deleted in a hurry. The last time that we were meaningfully above the 20-day moving average, we broke above that January 5th and stayed there for all of January. And then when the calendar turned over, we broke beneath that 20-day. Yesterday, it looked like we were going to recapture that and take it out. Today, however, on the back of this news, we're right beneath that. So what I'd be looking at here, very, very clear for next key levels for IREN, 42.25. That's going to be that 20-day moving average, and it represent the upside level. But that 200-day moving average down here at 35.94, maybe we'll call it 36. Take a look at the weekly. You can see that over the last several weeks, we also made an attempt to get back above the 20-week moving average. But we were not only not successful in testing it, but really kind of left us with this bearish feeling as these all have really tall wicks above. So any attempt was met with selling pressure, and until that alleviates, current trend is still lower here on IREN. Okay, let's actually talk about Robinhood now. I know Webull had earnings. We can take a look at that as well. But as far as Robinhood is absolutely killing it, and you guys have talked a lot about trading Robinhood. I know this was a big moneymaker last year for a bunch of people. Actually, I feel like for a while, Robinhood's been a really big moneymaker. Let's actually start with the chart. I'm sorry, I put the story up there. Here's the important part about Hood. First of all, we're up 1.72% here in the pre-market. But when we fell from these highs, we really found some good support right around this $72 level. And this $72 level does, in fact, go back to June of last year. You can see we tested it once, twice, thrice, and 4 times here. We've traded back above the 200, so it does look like it's trying to change its direction. And what's great about this is that we do have the 50 and the 200 right above it. But we did have this recent death cross, and there's just no way to say that this death cross has played out already. Hood's stock price has literally moved sideways around this $72 support level. These chart formations don't always come true, but the death cross is one of the big ones. So something to keep in mind here. If we can break out and really start to trade against some of these, maybe we can quickly recapture this and cause that 50-day moving average to pitch up. That perhaps would invalidate some of this. Trading platform Robinhood has unveiled a new platinum card that offers incentives for autonomous ride-hailing services, access to the Transportation Security Administration or TSA's pre-check facility, and more. Does anyone use a Robinhood credit card of any kind? Obviously, this is a new one. You probably don't have this, but do you use any of Robinhood's credit cards? They're just adding another one to the fold here. On Wednesday, the company announced its Platinum card, which is offered with an annual fee of $695 and is touted by the company to offer benefits of up to $3,000 annually. Robinhood says the card is plated with 99.9% pure platinum, much akin to the gold card that they released, which is plated in gold. This is kind of a little novelty thing here. I don't know how I would feel about swiping a platinum or a gold card at a point of sale terminal, but that's just me. Lion, you often refer to gold as King Gold. Would you like a card plated in gold that you have to swipe? You'll have to let me know. Anyway, as standard, users are provided with a stainless steel card, so you actually have to pay a premium to get that fancy platinum card here. Okay. The card offers $250 per year credit for autonomous rides with a $20 monthly credit and an additional $30 credit applied to transactions in December. The card will automatically apply the credit once a transaction is made using the card. And as for TSA Global Entry and pre-check credit, the card offers $120 in credit. Quote, eligible cardholders will receive a credit of up to $120 every 4 years when application fees for Global Entry or TSA PreCheck are charged to the Robinhood Platinum card, the company said. The application fee for the facility is, in fact, $120. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Another benefit of the card, the company says, is its $250 credit on DoorDash activated via a complimentary Dash Pass membership. The company says that it will provide, quote, up to 3 $10 off discounts each January and up to 2 $10 off discounts every other calendar month, end quote. Robinhood also said that the credit card can be applied to one qualifying delivery order with a minimum subtotal of $50, excluding taxes and fees. Quote, primary cardholders are eligible to receive monthly statement credits for qualifying dining purchases at participating local restaurants, end quote. It added that the $250 in total statement credits per year can be availed at over 15,000 local restaurants. The cycle is identical to credits applied to autonomous ride-hailing services. The news comes as Kathy Woods-led ARK Invest recently purchased over $5.4 million worth of the food delivery platform shares. That's DoorDash. The company also offered up to $500 in credits on hotel bookings via its travel portal. The platform will also offer 5% cash back on flights booked through the Robinhood banking app. That's interesting. On my Costco card, which I believe has the best reward structure of any credit card out there, Robinhood included, I actually only get 4% back on travel. So Robinhood, at least on travel here, 1% higher than the Costco card. Quote, eligible cardholders will receive up to $250 in statement credits for qualifying luxury hotel bookings per 6-month period. I guess that's basically one free night every 6 months at the $250 price point. Maybe not even a full night, depending on where you're going to stay. Looking at you folks that go to the Fontainebleau. Robinhood said that Robinhood added that it will offer the option to use up to $100 of the credit on standard hotel bookings, so you don't have to be bougie. Robinhood said it will offer an annual Priority Pass Select membership to enable primary cardholders who can use it for unlimited lounge visits while enrolled in the program. I've heard a lot of good things about those airport lounges. The company is also offering a 1-year membership to Amazon's One Medical service, which includes 24/7 on-demand virtual care and same next-day appointment booking in many U.S. cities. The card will offer a 1-year membership to the wearable health tracking device Oura Ring. To avail the membership, customers will need to purchase the ring via the card and activate it within 6 months of purchase. The X Money card, the news comes as Elon Musk also touted his X Money platform, which will offer users 6% APY on the account, as well as a $25 welcome gift to use in its beta rollout stage. X Money will also offer a metal debit card to users, which can be personalized with the user's official X handle on it. This is going to be in partnership with Visa. So we'll see how the X Money card does. Let me know, though, does the Robinhood credit card move the needle at all for anyone, whether it's the stock or whether it's the actually using the card? In other words, would you choose to switch the current credit card or cards that you're using to the Robinhood card? And on the flip side of that, do you think that this is going to materially help the stock over the long term? Matthew says, I'm still on the wait list. Okay, now was that for the gold or was that for the platinum one that we're talking about here? And Buffalo by Bicycle, you will always get points for quoting a Flock of Seagulls song here and then adapting it to the situation. Indeed, I ran so far away. I'm not going to sing for you, but that's a good drop. Let's see, what else do we have? I trade Hood. I don't care what they have. Okay, Lion. Well, Lion's just being blunt here this morning. I'll trade it. I don't care about the offering here. Hood started bucking the crypto fall towards the end, liked a long there and paid off. Okay, so I think you took a long there and it paid off. There we go. Nothing will replace my gold bars. Nobody thought anything was going to replace your gold. That is for sure. I mean, what's for sure in this world? Death, taxes, and lion liking gold. That's about it there. Day trader, Hood lagged on getting the gold cards out. The platinum card is not made for me, and I have no interest. Okay, there we go. I like Hood long term, though. Okay. Good stuff there. All right. Next, we have another open AI. Oh, how are we doing on the time? 8:30. I'm actually past that. Let me go back to Pro. Let's take a look at the print. Okay. Let's see what we got here. So, U.S. initial jobless claims, 213,000. That was versus the 215,000 estimate. U.S. import prices month over month for January was 0.2 versus the 0.3 estimate. U.S. continuing jobless claims, 1,868 versus the 1,850 estimate. U.S. export prices month over month for January, 0.6 versus the 0.3 estimate. And non-farm productivity quarter over quarter for Q4 was 2.8 versus the 1.9% estimate. It looks like the S&P futures did respond here. It actually looks like it's moved in both directions a little bit, but right now holding steady. So S&P futures down 0.29%. I think they were down 0.3% when we first signed on here. Something like that. So anyway, it's moved in both directions here. It doesn't look like the market has chosen a direction, and it doesn't look like we're getting a huge initial reaction to this print. Okay. We'll keep monitoring that. And if things change here, or if we get some more news that comes out, we'll go back to that and take a look at it. We got plenty of time and plenty of flexibility here to pretty much do anything that we want today, which makes me really happy. OpenAI's annual revenue skyrockets beyond $25 billion. OpenAI has reportedly surpassed $25 billion in annualized revenue for last month. The AI startup's revenue has seen a significant 17% increase from the previous year's $21.4 billion. That's according to the information on Thursday. OpenAI is expanding into enterprise markets, partnering with major consulting firms to scale AI deployments, while facing growth competition from Anthropic and tech giants like Alphabet's Google. OpenAI did not immediately respond to Benzinga's request for comment. They're a bit busy right now, but if we get that update, I will, of course, bring it to you. OpenAI's annualized revenue crossed the $20 billion mark in 2025, marking a 233% increase from the previous year. This was a significant acceleration from the growth seen in the previous year when revenue rose from $2 billion in 2023 to $6 billion in 2024. However, OpenAI had also had to temper some of its more ambitious infrastructure plans. In February, the company informed investors it now expects to spend approximately $600 billion on computing power through 2030. This adjustment was made to align its capital expenditures with expected revenue growth. The company projected total revenue of more than $280 billion by 2030. Despite its impressive growth, OpenAI faces stiff competition. Anthropic, also poised for an IPO, is targeting a nearly 180% revenue increase in a single year. That puts pressure on the Sam Altman-led firm. In February, a global startup funding hit $189 billion on the back of OpenAI, which led the round with $110 billion, Anthropic at $30 billion, and Alphabet's Waymo at $16 billion, which together accounted for 83% of total venture capital that month. That was reported by Crunchbase. Besides SoftBank, OpenAI received funding from Amazon and NVIDIA. On Wednesday, NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang stated that its $30 billion investment may be the last before OpenAI's IPO later this year. I am still really excited for some of these AI IPOs, not necessarily for how they're going to perform, although that's exciting too. I want to see what some of the knock-on effects are for some of these other tech stocks. I also want to see if our thesis here about new AI companies actually rotates buyers and long-term holders out of some of the tech stalwarts like Apple and NVIDIA and Google and Meta, and then actually drive some of these AI companies forward. I would love more diversification in the market, and if this brings us one step closer to that, giddy up. Okay, how are we doing on time? Oh, we are cruising here. Some more Eli Lilly news here for you today. Eli Lilly targets employer coverage gap with a new obesity drug access platform. Eli Lilly and Company rolled out its new Employer Connect platform on Wednesday, targeting the roughly half of commercially insured American employees without covered access to obesity medicines. Obesity affects over 100 million American adults, and it costs the U.S. economy more than $1.7 trillion annually. Shout out the recent Joe Rogan podcast that brought Secretary Kennedy on. He actually rolls through a lot of the numbers about how much we spend, not only on obesity, but also on chronic disease and what kind of problem that actually leads to. $480 billion in direct medical costs and $1.24 trillion in lost productivity. That's per the Milken Institute data. Yet coverage for obesity medications remains inconsistent across employer-sponsored plans. Quote, for far too many people living with obesity, starting or staying on treatment isn't just a medical decision, it's an access decision driven by coverage and cost, end quote. That came from Aya Yufa, Executive Vice President and President of Lilly USA and Global Consumer Capabilities. The platform launches more than 15 independent program administrators dispensing pharmacies. HealthDyne and CenterWell provide nationwide pharmacy support. Administrators include 9am Health, Calibrate Health, GoodRx, Mark Cuban's Cost Plus Drug Company, Teladoc Health, Transcarent, and Waltz Health, and others. Through the platform, Lilly's Zepbound, which is the tirzepatide drug, QuickPen, recently Food and Drug Administration approved for single patient use, delivering 4 weekly injections, is available to network pharmacies at $449 across all doses. Final employer costs and employee out-of-pocket costs will vary based on the chosen program administrator, dispensing fees, and cost share model. Quote, this innovation can help employees access authentic obesity management medicines with more affordable out-of-pocket costs, end quote. That came from Kevin Hearns, Senior Vice President of Lilly Employer. In the SURMOUNT-1 trial, adults taking Zepbound's 15 milligram dosage lost an average of 20.9% of body weight over 72 weeks versus 3.1% on the placebo. In the SURMOUNT-5 open label study, Zepbound users lost an average of 50 pounds or 20.2% versus 33 pounds or 13.7% for injectable Wegovy users. So this is not only showing you that it's way more effective over the placebo, but in fact, it's more effective than the already fairly effective and available GLP-1 drugs. Zepbound carries a boxed warning for possible thyroid tumors, including thyroid cancer. It's not approved for cosmetic weight loss, and individual results may vary. Now, I will say, as the article highlights here, obesity is a serious problem, and it's not easy, and it's not easy to get over. And frankly, the more obese, the harder it is to actually get on this. People need help for this, and I understand that, and it does great things, and it produces other health results. But this type of stuff scares me. The type of possible thyroid tumors and thyroid cancer. I mean, to me, I would try to exhaust every possible avenue myself before going to something like that. That's just my own personal view on the whole thing. As far as Lilly goes, this company is an absolute monster. And as far I know, we talk a lot about HIMS here and other stocks that you would want to trade, but realistically, the best in breed, and it's not even close, folks. The best in breed is Eli Lilly. It has been incredible. It has more than just the weight loss stuff, obviously, too. They have a robust pipeline, but this stock has been an absolute monster. Now, we are about even here, right? We're about unchanged, down 0.14% technically. We're on the 100-day. What I would like to get from folks, where do you like buying the stock? If you don't want to buy it up here because it's too close to 52-week highs, I totally get it. But where's a good price for this stock if it does, in fact, come back in? Better still, if we do get a market-wide pullback here that resets some of these asset prices, where is Lilly appealing to the group? Does it need to maybe hold on to this $1,000 round level? Do you like it more down near the 200-day? Lion here says 970. 970 is not even all that far away from where we're at. Lion, I think we could probably get there in a day if it really started to accelerate here. So 970, if I back out a little bit, I obviously have this line here at 1,002. So 970 is not much beneath it. Looks like that goes back to the highs from 2024. Buffalo by Bicycle says, Ryan inspired me to get walking. Riding my bike is easy. Walking is harder. Easier now that I have been walking regularly. I can't tell you what that means to me. I'll just say it. I frankly can be annoying with how much I talk to other people about how good walking is, how good it is for your health, and what some of the other knock-on effects you can see from doing that. I absolutely love that I played even a small role in doing that. Consistent outdoor walking for me has changed how I feel in almost every aspect of my life, from stress levels to weight to anxiety and everything in between. It's been awesome for me. I'm happy to share that with you, and I'm glad that it's also working for you. That makes me really happy and really proud. That's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Okay. That's Eli Lilly. Let's get back to the news here. Rigetti. I'll actually do the news first, then we can go back to the chart here on Rigetti. Rigetti is seeing a significant surge in its market enthusiasm, despite reporting fourth quarter revenue that fell short of analyst expectations. According to the Benzinga Edge stock rankings data, the company's momentum score spiked from the 84th percentile to the 91st percentile week on week, placing the quantum hardware leader in the top 10% of stocks for relative price strength. The momentum shift follows a fourth quarter earnings report where Rigetti posted $1.87 million in revenue, missing the consensus estimate of $2.34 million. However, investors appear focused on technical validation rather than short-term sales. The company announced a breakthrough, achieving 99.9% 2-qubit gate fidelity at a 28 nanosecond gate speed. This milestone is critical for entanglement and positions Rigetti's superconducting architecture as a high-speed alternative to slower ion-based modalities. A primary driver for the momentum spike is Rigetti's fortified balance sheet. Almost can't even believe I read that, but I did. The company ended 2025 with $589.8 million in cash and investments, a massive increase from the $270 million held the previous year. And actually, let me go back here to Rigetti. I can't remember the dates, but I am fairly certain that thing had a bunch of offerings here. Let me take a look here. No, actually, the last one I have data for here is February of 2023. 23 million shares. Okay. Anyway, sorry, I was just trying to catch up on that. A primary driver for the moment. Management confirmed this capital provides a sufficient runway to execute its roadmap through 2027 without requiring additional debt during its earnings call. Now, what's important about this is that when we've talked about quantum before, we've talked about the time frame here. What is a realistic time frame for some of these quantum companies to actually start making some money? We're saying here that the cash is going to be good through 2027, but What about the other years? What about 2028, 2029, and 2030? And when do we actually see this company really start to ramp some of its revenue? I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that. But we'll see when this thing has to raise more money. I suspect it will. I just can't tell you when. Nonetheless, Rigetti remains on track to deploy its 108-qubit chipset-based system by late March of 2026, targeting a 99.5% medium 2-qubit fidelity. Looking further ahead, the company plans to scale to a 1,000-plus qubit system by 2027. That's probably where that money is going. With new purchase orders from research institutions in India and Japan, Rigetti is successfully transitioning to open modular architecture into a global commercial pipeline. Shares of Rigetti have fallen by 19.82% year to date, while the NASDAQ has declined by 1.84%. So it's declined more than General Tech has here. The stock was 17.46% higher over the last 6 months and 125.95% over the year. On Thursday, the stock was 3.43% lower in the pre-market. And that's where we pick up here today. Let's take a look at the chart. We're actually down 5% now. Looks like this has accelerated, if you will, to the downside. What's important here is because we are actually at a support level. I would call this 14.5. And this level actually goes back. Let me get my cursor back on it. This level indeed goes back to the consolidation area that we were in last summer. And so are we able to hold this area? I've got the bottom of this at maybe 13.75, 13.5. If we keep dipping here and then further, I have the 500-day moving average at 11.58. I know when we've talked about this, when this was making a huge run before, we've called this kind of, we might have called it junk, or we might have called it, hype or too much hype or something like that. But at some point, this is going to be a really good buy. And I guess I would wonder from the group here, where do you like this stock? Do you have a long-term approach here? Let me know. Quantum is all shorts until they get bought up when the time comes. Okay. Okie dokie. All right. That was Rigetti. Last story. Here we go. And actually, maybe we should start with the chart. It is bull. It is Webull, and man, oh man, stock's down 2.47%. That's good. That's actually up off of the overnight lows. Overnight lows had us down here at 5.75. We'll see if we can hold that here today. Looking at this daily chart, it looks bad. This was a SPAC, so this is still in its de-SPACing process. Let me know if you guys think that this $6 area is a support area. Does anyone like Webull down here? And the other thing I'd want to know is if you do like or dislike it, does your thought on Robinhood have any bearing on Webull? That's just out of curiosity. Now, Webull, the digital brokerage platform, a rival to Robinhood and Charles Schwab, went public in April of 2025. The digital investment platform provider reported quarterly earnings of 4 cents per share. That was in line with the street estimate. The company reported quarterly revenue of $165.2 million, which surpassed the consensus estimate of $160.81 million. Quote, we reported another quarter of strong financial performance, particularly in our equities and options business, which contributed to significant full-year revenue increase. That came from H.C. Wang, the CFO of Webull. We're seeing robust returns on strategic investment in marketing, innovation, and addressable market expansion, and are confident that we are positioning Webull to deliver lasting shareholder value, end quote. The stock is currently trading 1.5% below its 20-day simple moving average and 2.3% below its 100-day moving average, indicating more short-term weakness. With the RSI at 50, which is considered neutral, suggesting the stock is neither overbought nor oversold. Meanwhile, the MACD is at 1/10. That's below its signal line at 0.15. That indicates bearish pressure on the stock. The combination of neutral RSI and bearish MACD suggests mixed momentum for Webull at the time. Key resistance at 6, key support at 550. Not a whole lot of wiggle room in there. Let me know what you folks think on Webull. Buying bull to get my cost down. So Ed, it sounds like you're dollar cost averaging this. Lion is screaming no. Bull didn't show any signs of growth. Okay. And until it does show those signs of growth, Lion, I assume that you have no interest in this. No interest in it at all. All right. We'll be able to do ticker time here. Maybe we will take a look at SOC next. Let me actually add that to my list so I don't forget about it. But in the meantime, let's do street tweets. First one here is courtesy of the Kobisi letter. Global flight cancellations to the Middle East exceed 23,000 since February 28th, with airline disruption costs nearing $1 billion. The reason I'm bringing this to you folks is because I want to know, is there a trade in some of these airlines? Is there, if you think it's going to be prolonged and get worse, are you looking to maybe trade this more to the downside? Or does this represent a temporary blip where some of these airline and travel stocks might give buying opportunities? Let me know what the move is here regarding some of the airlines. I know we talk about these a lot. They're kind of frustrating to trade, but with everything going on, let me know what you think here. Producer, next tweet. This one comes from our friend Gary Black. This is not about Tesla or autonomous ride-hailing services. This one happens to be about Broadcom. Q1 results modestly beat expectations and offered stronger than expected 2Q rev and EBITDA guidance. Here, we actually went through some of these actuals here. You know what? I didn't talk about the sectors. So the revenues were a beat, but the semiconductor AI revenues, 12.52 versus the 12.31. So that was a little bit higher. Infrastructure software was 6.8 versus 6.86, slightly lower. And EBITDA was 13.1 versus the 12.8 billion. We already talked about the EPS and the guide. The market's tepid response is similar to NVIDIA, which also beat and offered strong guidance, but NVIDIA's stock fell 5.5% the next day, given the high buy-side expectations. Now, we talked about Broadcom. Right when we came on here. It is actually still holding higher, but it has moved lower from its pre-market highs. So this goes back. What is the trade here for Broadcom? Is this a long? Do we wait this one out? What's the move? And if you already have it, are you trimming and booking any gains, whether that plan is short-term, long-term, or otherwise? All right, let's go back to, I think I just do this, right, producer? Bang. And then you take care of that. Bang. All right. So that'll take care of street tweets. We're waiting on 13. In the meantime, let's take a look at any charts that you want. I'm just going to start here with SOC since Day Trader brought that up already. I have no idea what it's doing. Okay. This was a stock that 08 Roush Stage 3 liked, right? Am I getting that person correct? Let me know. Someone out here really likes SOC. And they were telling us that in due time, this stock is going to go much higher. Looking at this chart here, had a nice little move off this bottom that sure looks like it's confirmed down at about $4. We pulled back to the 50-day. We kind of rode that. Now we're starting to pop. Can we take out this high? This recent high from January also lines up with the consolidation area from October of last year. This entire area in here, 1475 on the high end and 11 and a quarter on the low end. This to me seems to be the next real big resistance area. And if we're able to break that, we might be able to go towards the $17 level. That is represented by the 200-day moving average. So chart actually set up to move higher here. You were saying looks like some good news here from SOC. Here you go. The Department of Justice Office of Legal Counsel has concluded that an order issued under the Defense Production Act, whether by the President or the Secretary of Energy, poses the force of federal law and may preempt state laws that impede critical energy infrastructure, such as the Santa Ynez pipeline system operated by Sable. Okay, our news desk, and I don't know if I've covered this before. Maybe I should do that right now. One of the other things that you get with Benzinga Pro is when a piece of news comes about, a lot of the times the news desk will tell you if this piece of news is important. Now, it's not necessarily that the news is good or bad per se, but rather, is what they're talking about material here? Is this actually really important? And they are noting here that indeed this is very important to this company here. It's denoted by the one green caret. It is worth noting that our scale is 1 to 3 on these carets, both in the red and green direction. But in this case, it looks like this is absolutely being assigned some importance. If any of you want the actual document itself or the link itself, here it is. If you already have Benzinga Pro, you have access to it. If you don't have Benzinga Pro, what are you doing? But also, I'll help give it out there and entice you to do that. So SOC news does look good here. Chart actually looks good too. Day trader, I'm going to flip the table on you. Are you trading this? Are you long this? Do you like this? If so, let us know. Okay. Let's see. Good morning, Jay. It's great to see you again. What else do we have here? Oh, and I had asked about Broadcom earlier. Canarp saying, wait 10 minutes, start booking 50%, rest moving the debit spread up and out. Okay, so I like that. So you're booking some of your gains and then rolling out so you can have more exposure to the upside, it sounds like. That's great. Acorns here says, Broadcom should pull back to 325. And if it holds, will stay between 325 and 335. I love the specificity of this, man. I love this. If it breaks lower from 325, 320 to 315 is your next target. Acorns, I asked and you provided. Thank you for the plan and some of the key levels here on Broadcom. That is absolutely fantastic. Okay. So I didn't know that I was going to have a bonus for you here today. I didn't know it until just about 10 seconds ago, but I've got bonus good news for you here today. We're going to get an extra 3 minutes of 13, and we are going to start our pre-market pulse segment 3 minutes early. 13 doesn't know that we're doing this, so I hope he's ready. Surprise and good morning.
Hello. Hey, I showed up into the lobby. I'm ready to go.
Okay, I'm just trying to sell it a little. 13, just trying to add some drama to it. That's all. How you doing this morning?
Okay, I'm doing fine, but let's get those likes lifted up a little bit there. That'll add to some of the drama.
13 coming in hot. 13 coming in hot. Look, our chat members have asked you. 13 has asked you. Now I'm gonna politely ask you. Please smash up the like, and also, by the way, if you happen to be catching this after the live broadcast, still smash up the like, because that will also help us. You do not have to be here live in order to support us. Any support is very, very, very much appreciated. Okay, 13, first of all, do you have any stocks that you want to cover? Did you have any thoughts on Broadcom or any other stocks that we might have taken a look at here, or should we just jump right to the movers?
We can jump right to the movers. I can give some thoughts on Broadcom. I'm, long this for the long term. Nothing's really changed with the earnings yesterday. Cool. It's still, all systems go.
Okay, all systems go. I like that. All right, let's go ahead and knock out some of these movers. Then what we'll do is we will finish off the morning with ticker time for the stocks that you folks want. Basically, you get your own personal technical analysis, folks, here, as we'll just go and roll through some of those charts. Let me flip over to the movers tool, and it looks like GXAI is spiking here. Remember, we just did an exclusive piece of news on this several days ago. Let's see what happens here today. Okay. America First Defense secures license from Navy for counter UAS systems designed to defeat hostile drones.
Okay, real quick. You got to read your exclusive from 2 days ago and then read that again.
Okay. Gaxios AI acquires stake in U.S. defense company to build Made in America drones.
They acquired a strategic stake in America First Defense. It was like a 20% stake. And then 2 days later, America First Defense gets a contract. Okay. I thank you for reiterating that, folks. This right here is the power of Benzinga Pro. You are literally seeing it. Not only did the initial piece of news tip you off to what was going to happen here today, but you got that news what looks like nearly 30 minutes before the rest of the group, the rest of the market participants, I should say. So big time shout out to the folks here at Benzinga that work behind the scenes that you don't see on camera, that run our news desk and aggregate our news, also produce stories and all of that. I know this is a $2 stock. I know this is a small stock, but look at the move that it's made. It's up 76% just today alone. 13, this is a really good call out on that news.
And awesome. Just absolutely awesome. So we spiked up, looks like 250. Indeed, 250 here is going to be resistance. We've come back in a little bit. Let me actually pull up in my broker here. Indeed, we have now I don't know if this is going to get tested. We'll see. We do have a fair value gap that's going to be right down here. I'm just going to spread it out like this. Here you go. We'll see if we make it that far down. We've already kind of traded back to the VWAP and held there. So we'll see if perhaps we bounce from that area. Quick peek at the short interest. As a reminder, 3.54% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. On average, stock trades 7.7 million shares. Today, it's traded 54.3 million shares. And the float on this one is 8.4 million. So 13, new sounds good. What do you think about the action here today? And here we go, bouncing from the VWAP.
Yeah, that VWAP bounce looks like it's trying to get going here. We're going to likely come back up to 250, test that for a breakout. This may actually have better moves today than we've seen in the past. We've seen this move quite frequently, well up into the $2 handle, as high as 263 back in on February 3rd. But it's come back in every time. So I'm wondering if today is going to be a little bit different. We're going to open above the 200 EMA on the daily chart again. Don't know if we're going to end up giving that all back yet, but being that we're up here, we might not immediately come right back down. If you look what happened on February 3rd, it took a couple of days to get back down. Mm-hmm. So we could see some bounce around on the price action following today as it makes its way back towards the 200 EMA. But I'm still going to want to see if we hold above the 200 EMA, because this seems like it's quite a strong move for the stock. And we may end up opening the highest that we have been in a while. I think maybe even higher than the highs from August. So we'll see what ends up happening closer to the open. I'm just not sure if we're going to have that staying power. You've seen this plenty of times before, where it opens up higher, runs up, and then comes right back in the following days. Not sure if that's going to be any different, but we'll see if this has any staying power once we get the open.
Okay, nonetheless, pretty good catalyst. Volume in the pre-market looks good, and some of the action actually looks pretty tactical given some of the indicators that we look at on a regular basis. So this is on deck here today, ticker GXAI. All right, excuse me, sorry about that. Next stock here is Alto Ingredients. Ticker on this one is ALTO. Alto Ingredients shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 EPS results. We're basically right at where we found resistance in the after hours yesterday. I know we dipped a little bit when the pre-market opened here today, but we are trying to trade back up to that area. I'd be looking at pretty significant resistance up there at 358 about. And I'd really be looking for this range to break down, right? So 315 to 360 seems to be the range there. The only gap that I had on this chart was from yesterday. It would be, I don't know how much I trust this here today, so I wouldn't get, too terribly excited, I guess, but it would be this. So maybe we fall into this area. This is if we take out that pre-market range, but this is kind of what I'm looking at here for ALTO and the catalyst. Looking at the short interest here, pretty negligible, 1.2% with 1 day to cover. Average 100-day volume is 1 million shares. We've done 725,000 here today. Float on this one is 73.28 million. So it's not exactly one of those super low float stocks that we also look at. 13, what do you think? ALTO.
Positive quarter is good news. I think when I was looking at through some of this news, they had mentioned that they were going to have in their last earnings some kind of 18 million 45Z regulatory credits. So I don't know if that ended up showing up in this earnings report or not, because it was a big change over the last one. But anyway, this is moving off of earnings. They had a mixed earnings report. Finally, positive EPS. Looking at the chart here, this trend line that's pretty standout here is something that the price keeps trying to come up to. Now, I would like to see some better volume out of this one. We haven't hit 1 million in the pre-market yet, so kind of not trading into the strength that we need. We need to see some more volume if we're going to achieve some more heights here. But if we don't get that, then we probably don't end up breaking this trend line that I've got drawn here. I drew it from the after hours high through the pre-market highs. Yeah, and just kind of waiting to see if we end up getting enough volume to get through that. Once we do, it looks like 350 is going to be the big spot to get over. And once we do, we need to start closing over that. We've only had one close above it out of all this price action since the earnings. And then ever since then, it's just been, prints that have been rejected. So I think 350 is going to be the big resistance area if we can break this trend line.
Okay, good stuff there. ALTO. Next here, get excited, folks. Alpha, I know you're excited already. We already talked about it a little bit, but now we're going to get 13's opinion on this. This is going to be the trade desk, ticker TTD. And as a reminder here, the trade desk shares are trading higher following reports suggesting that OpenAI held talks with the company for support. And also, CEO Jeff T. Green bought 6.4 million shares. Big time shout out here. Jay Rice and Lion, both of them, despite this stock getting absolutely pounded, reminding us that, hey, this thing is going to be a good trade at some point. Jay, you were talking about how smart the CEO is. Well, he just bought 6.4 million shares, and the market is telling you they love it. They don't like it. They love it. TTD spiked in the after hours on the filing of that form, and it has moved higher here today. We are holding higher by 21.57%. Just a reminder here on the short interest, 10.61% of the float shorted with 2.94 days to cover. Well, these are not high by our standards. It is elevated, and there is something in there. On average, it trades 14.24 million. We've done 6.3 here today, and the float's 437. 13, you have any thoughts on the trade desk, daily chart today, or anything?
Well, I have a falling wedge drawn on my trade desk chart. I don't know if you have it on a different chart or not, but if you want to draw it at home, you can. We'll do the top side and the bottom side. Let's start with the top side. The timeline I have for that starts at December 5th, 2024, goes through the high from August 2025, and just keep it going after that. So that's the top side. There you go.
Gotcha.
Now with the underside, I started this one a little bit early, but because it also indicates some support and resistance. I started all the way back with July of 2023, and I drew it down through the low of April from the Liberation Day unwind. So
right here.
So July. There you
go.
Right
here.
Yep. And there you have your falling wedge that we almost tested the bottom part again just recently. But if this is this earnings is going to turn us around here, the next thing I want to see is a recapture of that 50-day SMA followed by 39 and 43. Those are two big areas of resistance that I have marked off here. We get all of that, then the next thing to happen is a recapture of the 200-day SMA and a breakout of this falling wedge, which has been going on for a year and change, like a year and several months. So pretty long time frame here. This falling wedge looks good to me for a technical breakout to the upside eventually.
Okay. All right. Anything more immediate? I'm not sure we test the top side of that here today. I'm thinking maybe a pullback towards 29.
50-day SMA. Look at the daily. That's the moving average we've been riding down since we had the gap down in August last year. Haven't really been able to recapture that. And as of late, every time that we come up to it, we've been rejected. That's evident with the January retest. So now that we're back up here, the question is, can we recapture it? If we do, we need to see some closes above this. So 31.63, that's going to be an important level, I think, today.
Okay. All right. Really good stuff there. The trade desk, ticker TTD. All right. Guess what? It's back. TURB is back. We're going to get to PDYN. Don't you worry about that. PDYN is actually going to be next here. TURB is back. Turd, whatever you call it. This one here is back. It looks like this spiked yesterday in the after hours, again here in the pre-market, but boy, oh boy, it's giving you that sad face formation here where it just continues to trade to the downside. I don't have anything fresh for this. The last piece of news is the news that we had discussed on Monday. So it looks like this might just be relative volume or some type of shenanigans or trading action. Just kind of looking at this 13, I'm kind of seeing my own trend line. I'm actually going to cut the top of that one off.
There you go.
We'll see here on TURB. Quick peek at the short interest on this. 1.96% of the float shorted with 0 days to cover, or 1 day to cover. 2.6 million shares is its 100-day average. Today it's done 3.4 and the float's 1 million. So do you think we get another action or another trade here in TURB or not?
Let's see. So I think one of the reasons you're seeing the movement here today is because You know how sometimes these really low float names can just get picked up and moved around? That's what I think you're seeing happen here, because this says a float of what, a million shares in this?
Right on the head.
Okay. So this is going to, even off on no news, we could see this, put in some pretty good price action for a trade. I just don't know how high it's going to go, and I don't know where those sellers are that are going to want to, or shorts are that are going to want to try and push this back down. But keep in mind, this thing is still going through NASDAQ non-compliance. So there's going to have to, they've clearly, got the share structure lower, but if they fall too much further, they're going to be underneath that minimum bid, and they're going to have to probably do another reverse split to get it back up there. I would also expect that a capital raise is coming here. Now, I haven't looked through their, the compliance to know exactly what they're not in compliance with, but I would imagine that it has to do with their minimum value and their minimum bid. So that's going to mean that most likely they're going to have to raise capital because the company, for as far as I can tell, doesn't have enough to get through another quarter.
Okay, and we did a pretty good job calling a potential capital raise yesterday, did we not, on CanF?
Yeah, that one a little bit more unusual, though. It was through warrants, but still raised capital, and it was something we pointed out. Dilutive. Yeah, it was still something we pointed out because it was their cash position was hurting. They needed some money. But let's see here with the turbo. Yeah, I think I like that trend line. I got a little bit different. I think I drew it with the high from the overnight for today. So you have the high up there around, let's say it's like over almost a 22, and yeah, you go the high there from this morning at 4 a.m. Yeah, that's where I drew it through. Maybe yours works better.
Yeah, but, let's see. Well, let's see how it shakes out.
Either way, it's a long road to get up to either one of these trend lines.
Yeah. Okay. No potential spam call. Get wrecked. Okay, next here, I promised PDYN. We'll go to MobX here in a sec. This is continuation from one. We haven't seen Rustam since he came in here and talked about MobX when it was a penny stock. So maybe he's I was going to say maybe he's looking towards retirement. But let me get this out of the way. Several of you folks have asked about this already, so let's just make sure we cover it. This is going to be PDYN. This is Paladine AI. They reported earnings before the market opened. They had a massive move on those earnings. The stock closed at 743 yesterday. It tested 11 on the backs or on the back of the earnings here today. Let's take a quick look at that print. EPS is a 4-cent loss. That was better than the 9-cent loss that was expected. Sales of 1.66 million beat the estimate of 809,000. So nearly a double on that. Get in there.
Guidance. That's what did it.
I hadn't got there yet. Paladine AI affirms full year 26 sales guidance of 24 to 27 million. Yep. And that is indeed what drew that thing higher here. So now we had a kind of an outsized move here, and we've retraced what I would estimate maybe 60% of that move. We found some support at the 65 EMA, so perhaps that will hold up and we can make a move back towards the VWAP there. Quick peek at the short interest on this name, 16.68% of the float shorted with 1.96 days to cover. On average, stock trades 3.4 million shares. Today it's traded 15 million and it has a float of 6.75 million.
Yeah, that guidance kind of represents a 4x or more increase in their revenue forecast. So that's great news. As far as the chart goes, we are holding above the 65 EMA with the VWAP keeping the price action from going a whole lot higher. So those are your two levels, it looks like, for now. Whichever one breaks, that's the direction we go. I think if we lose that 65 EMA, the 785 area looking like a next area of support, maybe a little bit higher up at 815 first. If we do break to the upside and take out that VWAP, it looks to me like 950 could be one of the earlier resistance areas. And then you have 10 followed by, what's this level here that I got? Looks like 1080. We did hit a high of almost 11 though. So that's going to be a level to watch for as well if we start breaking to the upside. But I would just keep an eye on those levels I just mentioned for now, VWAP and the 65 EMA, which one's going to break.
Now, just as a reminder, I think we've covered this here before, but the overview here for Paladine, and I'm getting to Jay's comment here. Paladine, excuse me, Zero Hedge called it a poor man's Palantir. I actually thought about selecting this tweet for street tweets, but I thought that the folks that hate junk stocks might have conniptions and a potential coronary event. So I chose not to and chose something a little bit bigger. That's directed at you, Lion. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But also, if you read the description here, Paladine AI is a software company focused on autonomy for robotic systems and solutions. Its artificial intelligence and machine learning software seeks to revolutionize the capability of robots, enabling them to observe, learn, reason, and act in structured and unstructured environments. So, given all of the stuff that we talk about with robots and AI on a regular basis here, this thing is perfectly slotted into that theme. And I would expect us to want to trade this multiple times. Jay, you're mentioning here Zero Hedge called it a poor man's Palantir. If I recall correctly, I think that tweet had a question mark in it.
Wasn't BBAI supposed to be
and that's exactly where I was going. And I think we need to be careful with this. Palantir is absolutely knocking the cover off of the ball, to borrow a baseball reference as we approach the start of the baseball season here. And I think it's dangerous to compare some of these smaller companies to Palantir. Maybe for a general idea, okay, sure. But BBAI was never going to be the next Palantir. Is PDY, I like the description of a poor man's Palantir because that connotates that it's, although it might be similar, it's still a class lower. I'm just saying when it comes to those things, be a little bit careful rather than trying to adopt a different stock to the current stock. Trade the current stock in front of you, right? Trade the current stock in front of you. Make your trade plan should be based off of PDYN, what it's doing, what the chart says, or whatever you factor into that, not whether or not it's going to be Palantir. I think he was joking. That's the other thing. All I'm saying here, and Jay, that's fine. All I'm saying here is just trade what you know, focus on the stock. Don't get lost in those comparisons, whether they're jokes or otherwise.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that Palantir is heavily involved in hardware. It seems like this company is more involved with that as well. But they do have that AI angle, so I could see how they would be compared to Palantir in that sense. I still think that we need to be focused on not just AI, but the hardware aspect, the robotics. This is something we've talked about before, and we're starting to see that start to become more prominent. So sensors, optics, servos. Things that all go into making robotics. Those are going to be important.
Indeed. Indeed, they will. Jamie Dimon, there you are. Palantir is going to crash. It's way overvalued, regardless of its current profit. Does anyone want to take the bet here with Jamie Dimon? Do you?
I'm sure lots of people do. Lots of people have a lot of opinions about where Palantir is going.
There you go. That is at J Dimon Hands on YouTube.
I have already gave my price target. I think that this comes down and finds support at 90, and then it can.
You're talking about Palantir now, just to be clear.
Palantir, and that's what I think is going to probably end up happening over the course of more months. But we did get a close bounce to that 120 area that I was keeping an eye on. So if we can't recapture the 200 and the 50-day SMAs, then that rejection could lead us down towards 90, but 90 is about as low as I anticipate this will go.
Kathy, sharp memory here. Palantir, wasn't there just a bearish death cross? Indeed there was, Kath. Indeed there was. In fact, that was on February 26th.
Mm-hmm. I just saw something earlier when I came on. Somebody had mentioned that Friday the 13th is coming up, and I was like, we just had one
next
of those.
Weekend.
Yeah, we just had one of those back-to-back months, Friday the 13th.
It was it was a good day for me. 13's my lucky number. 13's a good friend of mine, so I'm not put off by this at all. By the way, Lion made some asinine comment earlier that if I was selling 13, he'd be buying. Lion, you need to pay a premium that you would not pay for 13. He is not for sale.
But I am expensive.
There we go. Playing off that. Here we go. Modern Gorilla Value. Just 10 of 10 YouTube handle name. Palantir is not a meme stock anymore. Look at the fundamental data. This is why I was setting it up. Remember, at J Diamond Hands, he's the one that thinks it's going to crash. I'd love to have you folks go back and forth on that.
MTech, yes, but kindly if we could. This is gentlemen's
of course. Respectfully. We don't do stuff around here that's disrespectful. That's not part of our ethos.
MTech is getting mentioned here by Billy, and this is drone news. We're getting some movement right now.
Indeed, we are. Okay, MTech, really good mention. Yep. Shout out to Billy, who's just out here doing work for us. MTech here popping, looks like 250 is on deck here. Let's see what that news is, 13. Maris Tech secures first substantial production order for the Jupiter drone Edge AI video system from a new customer in the defense loitering munitions sector. So there's your drone news. This is up 38%. Sorry, 13. Real quick. Negligible short interest, 0.67% of the float shorted, 1 day to cover. There's not a whole lot going on there. On average, the stock is a ghost town. 82,000 shares is your average daily volume over the past 100 days. Today, it's done 2.4 million, has a float of 1.7. Get in there, 13.
I don't want to, just assume, but the ambiguous language there, loitering, is this kind of implying that this aerial vehicle just kind of hangs around a certain spot until it's called upon for a task or it notices something? I guess I would need to read some more into this, but if that's the case, that's kind of interesting, because we know it would be like kind of like a defensive type of drone, wouldn't it? In that sense?
It reads like, I don't know if that's the case. That would absolutely be something to look into, though.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for bringing that up.
This was a good mention. Yeah, yep. This is a really good mention.
I'm going to put this on the chart. See. Obviously I'm going to wait, not going to chase this thing, but we'll see what we end up getting with the price action as we approach the open in about 8 minutes.
Okay. 13.
Sorry to interrupt you. Alto breaking the trend line.
No problem. And yeah, there it is. Okay. I'm glad we threw that up there. Okay. We're going to do MobX. I've got 8 minutes here until we open. So MobX. So this was Rustam. I'm just going to call it this. I'm going to call it Rustam's penny stock from a couple of days ago. I poo-pooed it, and it made me look like an absolute fool by ripping several 100% and going up towards $1.50. So even though he's not here, we're going to give a register ring there for Rustam. That was so loud in my earphones, I can't even believe it, but whatever. We're going to give a register ring there for Rustam, and congrats for anyone else that might have made some money off MOBX. Now, this was back into penny territory, and today up 23% back into dollar territory. Y'all folks are saying there is some news here. Mobix Labs, this is in fact today, Mobix Labs receives new orders as Gulfstream aircraft production continues. So, okay, orders, let's see, does it have numbers? I'm just skimming it here. Nope, no numbers in the PR. So we did get a bit of a pop here. It's holding up by about 20%. Looking at the short interest here, 5.8% of the float shorted, 1 day to cover. Average 100-day volume is 45 million. We're double that here today, actually more than double that. Approaching 100 million shares traded. Float on this is 93 million shares. So that's where we're at here. 13, do you have a breakdown on this real quick? I'm going to step away for just 1 sec. I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure. I'll break this down a little bit. Just kind of reading into some of the news here about this, because we're looking at 5G components that this company provides. Gulfstream is one of the major private aircraft for business. So great that they're working with them, but I'm a little concerned about where this company goes or what they've got going on when it comes to research into 6G. I think that's a conversation we need to start, having now, and start looking into some of those companies. And I've been putting together a watch list for that. So aside, MobX, great news, but I'd love to know where their plans lead for the next generation of telecommunications on the mobile network. As far as the chart goes, still holding above VWAP. We got support from VWAP, which is also an interesting area, because when we opened the pre-market this morning, this ran up to 88 cents, 89 cents. And when we came back in and went all the way back down to double bottom at 61 cents, the next rip that we had that took us over that 89 cent area, we ended up back testing as support. So I like this 89-cent area as a support area. We've moved away from that ever since, trying to get over $1. Still dealing with that. Looks like that was also an area of resistance yesterday when we traded down out of the gate. We were coming back up, trying to get over $1. Proved to be pretty tough. Now, if we do get over $1 at this stage right now, the next area of resistance that I see is going to be from the pre-market yesterday before we broke down. So I think that's going to put us at about 115. We'll see if we can recapture that dollar. 115 would be my resistance target.
Okay.
We can look at other levels after that, but that's the next one from where we're at right now, I would say.
Okay. There you go. Good breakdown there on MOBX. Okay. What do we know? Next year, I wanted to cover AMPX, right? This is Amprius Technologies. We've talked about this one. They reported earnings yesterday. They're trading higher here today. This was back in our drone theme, as this was a battery producer specifically for drones. And as a result, this is thematic for us. Let me do a really quick peek at the actual earnings report itself here. EPS 18-cent loss. That actually missed the 4-cent loss estimate. Sales of 25.23 million beat the 22.97 million. Full year 26 revenue expected to be more than 125 million. That was versus the estimate of 123.41 million. And we actually had an update here. So Q4 adjusted EPS, 1 cent loss beat the 4-cent loss estimate. So you do some magical accounting in there, and all of a sudden you're beating it. Sales still the same, still beating that there. I joke about the magical accounting thing here, 13, but stocks up 6.3% here today. What do you think of this?
Well, the reason why they had earnings the way they are, and I put this in the happy hour, summary from when we were talking about it yesterday, that they had a one-time impairment charge, but was otherwise top and bottom beats. So the company's, having their conference call right now, and I think that's why we're getting a little bit more price action here, because the company's talking about itself. We also have some short interest here that may have added to this lift, but the days to cover isn't, in our up to our parameter. So I don't know that that's really having too much of an effect. Still, this is a good move here. I like the theme of batteries being one, drones being the other. Those two together, I think you're going to see these move in tandem. As the U.S. Conflict with Iran goes on, we're going to need more drones. It's probably going to end up being more contracts for drones. We just saw one today. So I still like AMPX, but it's a very welcome move to see this now over 13. Okay.
Really good stuff here. AMPX. Okay, we already talked about SOC. BTAI is also on the. Was there anything else that we should cover here? BTAI. This looks like it went up towards 220 and pulled back a little bit. Let me see what the news was for it.
Yeah, the only other ones that I saw or looked at, I didn't really cover, but I just saw that they were up, were ELPW and TMDE. This is a big day of a lot of ex-girlfriends here.
Yep. Okay. All right, let me flip over to the main workspace. We're less than 2 minutes here until the market opens. I absolutely love that there's a back and forth in the chat about Palantir here. Keep it clean, boys. Love it. It's going to make you folks better traders here. One thing I will actually just pop in here real quick. Jay Diamond, you are correct in what you're saying here. Jay Diamond says, definition of a meme stop is rapid, dramatic price increase driven by social media hype. That is 100% true. Palantir's rapid price increase was driven by fundamentals and sales.
Okay. I'm mostly joking here, but let me ask you, when Trump tweeted last year to get ready to buy stocks and the entire market ripped, does that make this entire market a meme?
Okay.
Because he did it on social media. I'm just saying. I didn't
even think about that, 13. That is mic drop. Okay. All right. What do we have here? Less than a minute.
We have less than 30 seconds. Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Let's go.
Great. Here's MobX. That's the penny stock. ALTO. Let's see if this breaks 350 here.
Yeah, just going to kind of cycle through some of the ones we looked at. Looks like MTech is pulling off a 316 high that it just made here, trying to get support from VWAP. Paladine also testing that 65 EMA. Are we going to get a breakdown from that, or is it going to get support? Here we are. We're open now.
We are open. Bang, bang, bang.
All right. GXAI. This lost the VWAP, so it couldn't get going here, but we are down at a support area. This is the first area of resistance when we had the impulse move up. It took about 20 minutes to get through it, so hopefully this provides some support. Alto, this is okay. So that broke the trend line, and we're taking off.
That's ALTO.
Yep. Broke the trend line. Here we go. Let's see. Where does this end up running to? Oh, I bet if this goes to 4, that'll be quite interesting, because I've got a larger trend line here that I started from December 4th, drew it through December 24th. And that gives us a trend line that could take the price up to a resistance area of about 4 to 405. It's still underway at 382. We're hitting it right now. He just got deleted. Looks like we're going to 4. Right to the other trend line.
Taking a look at, so I'm trying to here. Let me see. Let me actually refresh. Actually, looks like it's doing okay here.
395, the high in Alto. Big seller in the way at 4. Maybe he gets deleted too. Netflix is flying.
Yeah, I wanted to take a look at some of these.
And
NVIDIA.
There's 4.
You're all good. You are all good, my friend.
All right, so that was a great
TTD
one.
kept going.
Oh, did it now? Let's
Popped out of the gate here, now up 29%.
We are fidgeting with the 65 EMA right now on the daily chart. At value 3287. There's some sellers in the way there, but now they're starting to stack up right at that 65 EMA. Turb, here we go. This one pushing up.
And GXAI, I'm kind of watching this. We are actually, or we tried to trade down there a little bit. I'll let you know if we get to that gap. Here's Turb. VWAP test right now. SPY out of the open here, trading back up. I wouldn't get too excited about it yet. We're basically making a move to the VWAP here. I'm also looking at the S&P futures. This just, to me, looks like it's moving to the VWAP. We'll see if it actually has some strength. I've got the 1 minute time frame here. I actually have a bearish read from the momentum indicator, but it's got low confidence as it's changing here. Okay.
Well, I've got high confidence in my trend lines. We just went to
so do I,
404.
dude. The highest confidence.
We just went to 404 in Alto and backed right off. So 4 to 405, that was the range for where the trend line, the long-term trend line I had, indicated the price could find resistance. Sure enough, that's where we ended up going.
And this is, so I drew this on the other one, right? Is this the one that I cut off? Right? No. That was a different stock. That was a different stock. So the one that you had.
No. Here, I'll tell you what. Here's the trend line. So December 4th, 2025. That high, run it through the high from December 24th of last year.
Wait, December 4th?
2025. Run it through the high of Christmas Eve last year. So these are both from last year that I drew the trend line. 2025. You're in 2023.
I know. I'm looking for the December 2024.
2025.
Here, that's right here. Here's December 2025.
Okay, well, you'll probably have to zoom in so you can see it. But yes, December 4th, 2025, and December 24th.
I'm sorry. You're right. I'm stupid. Sorry, guys.
That's the trend line that I have. That's what was indicating to me we could go up to 405. That was pretty good. So now we're backing off here. Let me go back to a smaller time frame. Man, we really are giving this back. We're now underneath the VWAP. I would think that we would need to hold above 360 if we're going to try and push back up. If we lose 360, then we may start trading lower.
Netflix went to 100. Gary Black said this was going to happen. It didn't take more than 2 weeks for it to happen. Congrats to anyone in Netflix.
Yep, GXAI got a Navy contract. Got a Navy contract. Yeah, and white chocolate. The great thing about GXAI is that on Pro here, we did have an exclusive about a stake that the GXAI took in the drone company that ended up getting the contract just 2 days later. So fantastic stuff there. Also look at AMPX. Drones are hot. 1450 we're at now. This thing is continuing higher.
Boom. And that's on the back of earnings, which is a solid catalyst there. By the way, S&P here, SPY. One scalp done on the 0 DTE calls there. That was a bit of a gamble, to be quite honest with you. I didn't love it. But anyway, right back to 684 here on the SPY.
Look at Alto.
Every time I take it off, you're like, oh my God, look at Alto. So it went right to the trend line and pulled.
Yeah. It pulled right back down to nearly the 200 EMA. Careful with Alto at this point, man. This thing is just whipping around. Paladine looks like this wants to try to get going here. Still resistance at about that 920, 925 area. I see there's a seller in the way at 889. Probably because there's some consolidation from that area. But I like the 920, 925 area for a breakout. GXAI still having trouble trying to stay above the $2 range. It's still above VWAP.
See, this is interesting. GXAI, in my broker, I've got VWAP at 211. I have it looking like it pushed up to VWAP, unable to recapture, and then reversing from that level. Canadian oil stocks are doing great. I'm in it. You're in the Canadian oil stocks? Hey, this is Saul. Saul, it's great to see you again. It's been a while. I hope you're well. Hope you and family are well. Thanks, Ryan. Haven't traded TTD in a while. Making some nice profit on it right now. Let's go. I'm going to blow my eardrums out just for you. That's crazy. Producer, I might need your help to figure out how the volume to the stream stays the same and the volume to my ears don't put my hearing in jeopardy.
Remember the trend line we drew with Turb? Well, we drew two of them technically, but let's see. Did yours hit did the price hit yours? It's getting close to mine. You don't have that.
Well, it's on the other chart, right?
You drew it.
Oh my God! Let me go back to the movers. I gotta start saving these charts so that this is just easier on me. It's my own fault. So let me just answer your question. Yes, it hit my trend line. Oh, this is the one we did intraday where I chopped off the top. Let me go back to I'll draw that on the other chart. But yes, it did actually touch it.
Awesome. And we haven't got up to my trend line yet, but we got pretty close. Looks like we got within about 15 to 17 cents.
GXAI at VWAP right now. 211 test coming right here. We'll see what happens on GXAI.
Oh,
let me just refresh my platform here. Just give me 1 sec.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, I'm if we can get some more volume expansion here with GXAI, kind of like that.
Ask and you shall receive.
Yeah, I didn't even have to pray.
Boom.
Wiss is mentioning TPET. I'm going to look at that one while you focus on GXAI.
Well, I'm actually just going to properly draw this trend line in here. I had it like this. We hit it. We backed off of it. Bang, bang, bang. Okay, which one were you on? Sorry?
Wiss mentioning TPET. This is now currently trying to climb over the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. We're above it at the moment, but running into a lot of sellers up above here from 115 to about 140. Lots of different sellers throughout that range. What Alto is just crazy. This thing, you got to be careful with this one. But man, if you're trading this successfully, you're having a really good day. This thing is just around.
That dip wild there, kind of shaking and baking there a little bit. GXAI still trying to continue.
That just happened.
What?
The shake and bake.
Oh,
come on, tell me you're come on. You're the movie guy here, right? That just happened. We got a little shake and bake.
What is that from? Damn it! I know.
Talladega Nights.
Oh no! Oh God!
Anyway, I'm looking at this.
I did that unintentionally and didn't realize. That's minus points for me, if I'm being honest.
Did I see any upper resistance on TTD? Let me look at a larger time frame here. Okay, yeah, because I think what we were talking about earlier was that this is coming up to the 65 EMA, and 32. I may have given a slightly different number, but 32.85 is what I have right now for the 65 EMA, and that's pretty close to where we just went, 32.90. So that's the resistance that I see on a daily chart right now. But this is probably going to give a little bit back and forth. But I do like the move off the bottom of the falling wedge that it's in. So maybe it's going to need a few days to get through that 65 EMA. I don't know, but I do like this more to the upside than downside for the longer term at this point. Looks like this is trying to come off the bottom of that falling wedge.
I love what you started here. Hippo says, "Don't you put that evil on me. If you're not first, you're last." Ricky Bobby. Day Trader says that hurt. I try not to hurt people here. I really do. I'm sorry about that. I'll try and tighten that up.
Oh man.
MDB getting mentioned here by Billy.
Alpha Trade, that's daily. 65 EMA on the daily chart. That's where Trade Desk found resistance. At least from my broker, it says it's 32.85 is the 65 EMA on the daily.
So here's your MDB, Billy. This ripped straight out. I'm all hopped up on Mountain Dew. I love this. I love what you guys brought it here today so far. That's for sure. MDB here, 262. This is actually the highs from Tuesday that we're testing. Thereabout.
MDB. Oh, wow. Look at this thing go.
Here's Chewy. Jamie, were you buying the inverse Chewy? What was your Chewy position again? I can't remember if you like or dislike animals. You'll have to let me know. That's not fair. I can't put that on. I can't put that on somebody because of a Chewy trade. That's not fair. I apologize. I won't make that joke.
Oh man. MDB, by the way, coming up to some of the resistance from what was the third Tuesday. The highs of Tuesday may provide a little bit of resistance. If you look at a 5-minute chart and kind of back out a bit, you can see that we're coming up to this area. So that's where I would think that there's going to be some resistance. We may end up blasting through it, and if we do, we start closing above it, I'd be viewing this breakout area as support if it comes back in.
Okay, and really quickly here. So on SPY, I talked about that ripping out of the gate here. SPY. I can't tell yet if this is a bull trap. I will say potential bull trap there. We traded, I'm looking at the S&P futures here. We traded right up to the VWAP, stopped, and we've traded back down now. Now, this is not breaking down and not challenging the 681.5 low that we put in here today. So maybe this is setting up for another move. My indicator for SPY 0 DTE calls is flashing a buy signal. Oh, actually, it just disappeared. So I think this is still trying to figure out which way it's going to go. This feels to me not like a great entry spot here. Almost feels a little bit like a gamble.
Okay, so I think we've got a couple minutes left in this candle. I would think that about 10 minutes after this candle, we're probably going to have a better idea from the SPY where, if this is going higher or not. I think in the next 10 minutes, we'll probably have a better answer.
Okay. So wait it out.
Yeah.
Wait it out. I mean, it's been 13 minutes. What's going to hurt to wait out another 10 minutes?
Alto, man. This thing is a dream for day traders. Just fantastic stuff. Really liking AMPX. We're approaching 15. It's 1478 is the high. TPET, here we go. This thing just is just trying to get over the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. We've broken above it now. I wonder if this is going to give us a bit of a target. So I'm looking at the price action in the after hours for TPET yesterday. The high that we made at 5 o'clock. Draw a trend line through the high we made at the pre-market open this morning. And that may give us a target of about 130 to 130, about 130 as a potential resistance area based on that trend line. You see it from the after hours high and the pre-market high.
Right here and right here. Yeah, got you. So let me actually zoom in, make sure I get this correct. And then I got to issue a formal apology here real quick. All right, here's your TPET trend line. That gives us a target. Good stuff there. Okay, so really quick, again, I apologize for making a joke about animals. That's, in my opinion, that's akin to making a joke about somebody's family, and I don't do that. So Jamie Dimon clearing it up for us here. Love animals, hate meme stocks. And I had asked you earlier what you were trading in Chewy. I appreciate the answer. It's Cord, which is a 2x inverse of Chewy. Thank you.
Roku's been trending higher since Netflix walked away. I probably need to do some more work on Roku, because ever since that, as far as I understand, they're just basically a company that makes streaming boxes, right?
Well, and the TV. And those TVs are found in almost I feel like every single Airbnb that I stay in, it's got a Roku TV.
I feel like they needed to really pick up some content or
GXAI approaching day lows here now. Sorry, 13.
No problem. So I'm not sure how great Roku could be in the future. I have a lot of concerns, but like I said, I haven't done enough DD on this, so I don't know what's good with this company right now. Yeah, I got that they had a good quarter. It's just that, what's going to keep them in the game. I feel like if you have a streaming service, then you're good to go. You don't need you just need a phone or you need a TV. But like I said, I need to do some more work on this because I'm not sure about Roku. Teeth Pet, still making our way up towards that trend line. Man, it's been a trend line kind of day.
It seems like the trend line is actually one of our best and perhaps, dare I say this, most reliable indicators. On this higher, Netflix pulled back, so it tested 100 and yanked.
The TTD pulled off 32.90. So as far as support areas go, we're coming into a bit of a demand zone around 30.50. Beneath that is a 65 EMA on the 5-minute. We'll see if any of those areas provide some support. Paladine, here we go. We're getting a lift here through some of this those highs from the pre-market.
Lion, take care of yourself. Good stuff this morning.
Take care,
Lion. Great day. Paladine right here at the VWAP. And also, by the way, I just checked on it. Broadcom actually looked like that was curling up as well.
AMPX, almost to 15.
I need to come up with a really good shirt idea that revolves around the trend line and doesn't have any off-color joke about cannabis on it. We need to come up with something real good for a trend line t-shirt.
Well, we do say the trend is your friend a lot. I'm sure we could come up with a lot of different things like that.
Yep, we can. I've also thought about, putting like the Rocky Mountain range at a distance and then drawing a trend line through the peaks and saying that they appear everywhere. Something like that. We'll come up with something. Kiss my trend line, says Joe.
Alto still coming back up, looking for that 404 high it put in out of the open here. Big seller in the way at 390 right now.
Also, SPY looking like it's making another attempt to go recapture its VWAP here today.
Ooh, T-PET almost to the trend line, got rejected, coming back towards VWAP. There is a large seller in the way at 130, right near the area where this got rejected. I'm sure that had something to do with it.
Izzy, stoked about Amazon here, 220. Izzy, do you think we go through 220 here? And what do you have next? What do you have next here on Amazon? Gosh, well, we got a gap fill, 223, and then a really small candle and another potential gap fill up to what? 233? What do you think about those two spots?
Let's look at Amazon.
Seeing Palantir calls getting bought here. Palantir at the day high here, actually retesting the day high here. So let's talk really quickly, and Jay Diamond, no shade and no jokes here. Talking seriously, first of all, when you're trading some of the inverses, and I've asked 13 the same question here, when you're trading the inverses, do you basically just do any of the charting that you're looking at off of the underlying, or do you actually chart the inverse vehicle that you're using Furthermore, is this more of like a theme thing? Does the chart play into it at all? I guess what I'm getting at here is, what's the trade plan here for PLTZ other than sell it when it's higher than where I bought it? Are there any specific spots that you're looking for, either on PLTZ or on PLTR, to let you know that that trade is working? And Bilger wants to know what the next resistance is on CRM. Let me flip over to my bigger chart. We can take a look at that as well.
Yeah, so I was just looking to see if I could, I was just looking through the news of Amazon. It seems like this is up on the Amazon Connect Health, but it doesn't look like it really moved on that when the news came out, unless I'm just seeing it at the wrong time here. But yeah, nice moves out of the gate. Not exactly sure which what drove it, but I would expect the AWS Amazon Connect Health news.
Really quick here regarding CRM, Bilger asking, what is the next resistance area? Well, we're currently this 200 resistance area. It looks like we're attempting to break that here. Stock up nearly 4%. We're actually above 200. I have a potential gap starting right here about 205 and filling up towards 210.5. I would pick the gap fill as the resistance area. So I would say that your next resistance area here is at 210, 13. I'd love to get an idea from you what you think the next resistance area on CRM is here. I also have a trend line that's sloping down that's at 218. So the longer this takes, the closer we'll get to that.
Yeah, that trend line is what I've also got too. And I think I would kind of be looking towards that, maybe 215. But I do like 220. I'm looking at a monthly chart right now. Let me see if I can see anything else on a smaller time frame. We are coming into a bit of a supply area back from 2023 that we knifed through not that long ago. Yeah, I guess I would still kind of lean on that area. It's going to be a little bit more than 210, but I think like 212, 215, that's going to be a bit of an area all the way up to 220. So we're in some resistance, and it looks like there's going to be even more as we get up over 220 into the 230s. There's a lot of sideways consolidation. I've got a box drawn for that. The recovery in this could be a while. And I'm not going to outrule.
I extended that box out because we've drawn this together here.
And I'm not going to rule out the possibility of this still potentially testing lower prints, but I don't think it's going to go too much lower than 180.
Okay, and by the way, S&P futures here retesting the VWAP to the upside, but it is stopping there. Not moved through it just yet.
Oracle Retro says that Oracle is alive. Well, I think they are one of the.
I got to get Deere in here next for Neville too.
Sure. Absolutely. I think Oracle is getting a lot of attention because the Warner Brothers Paramount deal involves Oracle as well.
Or the Oracle chart here might start to look constructive now. Just to kind of go back to the Monty Python theme that I've been doing here today. Once, twice, thrice tested here on the, or is that the Princess Bride? Might be the Princess Bride. Nonetheless, it tested this area down here about 143 times, and it looks like it's come off that area. Now we're above the 20-day moving average. To me, this actually looks like a move up towards that 171.5, that 50-day on deck here. Let's see if, you know what? Let's see if we can close above this 20-day. Let's see if we can actually get a close above the 151 spot first on Oracle. Let me do DE real quick here for Neville. He's been very patient. We have actually looked at Deere quite a bit. And this recently indeed found resistance at this long-term trend line that we have. It is worth noting that we broke above it, but look, we broke beneath it, back tested it, could not get above it, and now lost the 20. So to me, I would think that a 600 break probably sends us towards 550 on Deere. That's just from the chart.
Yeah, I would need to see some turnaround by next week. We are trading beneath the 20-day SMA for the first time in, what is it? Almost for the first time this year, since January 6th. So hopefully this doesn't end up being a sign that there's some downside ahead. Now it would make sense. This thing has been on a parabolic run. But if we can't recapture that 20-day SMA, I would say by the end of this week, next week, I think we could end up seeing lower prints.
Okay. All right, Neville, what's your trade plan on Deere? Are you looking for more upside on Deere or what? Let us know. I don't want to assume.
I think Deere is a great company. I think it could still see higher prints, but with the run that it's recently had, there's likely going to need to be some cooling off with this, and before it goes higher.
S&P futures still on that VWAP test right now. S&P futures S&P futures 15-minute trend here, bullish with a 99.8% confidence level.
GXAI it's trying to recapture the VWAP right now. This is still trying to curl up and go close over to 225. That's been a bit of a resistance area following the move up to 251. Ever since we came beneath the 225 area, we struggled to recapture it. Watch for expansion of volume here that takes us up through VWAP and possibly over that 225 area. Also, Alto, this thing, like I said, day trader's dream right now. This thing is printed new highs several minutes ago. 408 was now the high. It beat the print it made out of the gate after all this whipping around. Lots of great price action there. And then finally, AMPX, that hit 1505. It hit the 15 mark, backed off from that. I don't know if we're going to see much higher prints than that today. I think the silver will go higher, but I don't know about today. 15 was a pretty good move up. So I took some off the table for AMPX.
Really quickly here in GXAI, I did not want to interrupt you, but conversely, if it cannot get through that 209 VWAP test that it's currently at right now, perhaps we actually do retest the fair value gap that is still unmitigated from the impulse candle this morning. Just something else to keep in mind. That would be the other side of that. S&P futures still being rejected at that VWAP. We'll see if we can get above that. Anyone have any futures trades on today? Just out of curiosity.
With Jay mentioning the IGV, this did have a really nice bounce off the bottom of our sideways channel, and it's looking like it's going to come and test the top of that channel, which is up around near 90. Also, GXAI through the VWAP coming up to test that 225 area. Lots of sellers in the way. Need to see expanded volume.
Yep. Now, the volume surged in the pre-market, contracted near the end of the pre-market, but surged right out of the open. So we would like to see a resurgence of that volume. That would actually help maybe push this higher. That's GXAI. Jay, I know you're talking here about IGV up almost $10 in a week. Are you interested in any of the software names yet, given the move that we've seen here? Do you think it's a reflexive bounce or maybe more to run here? S&P futures now through the VWAP finally. So it actually took a little bit. I have two tests of this VWAP area on the 15-minute chart, and it actually took some time to get through here, but giddy up. We are pushing through the VWAP on the S&P futures. We are trying to go higher here. Red-green move on deck, about 50 cents away, or 850, I think. Yeah, 850 on the futures. Excuse me, 30 cents on the SPY.
Starting to look okay. Here we go. GXAI. Here we go. Heath Ledger Joker. Here we
I know. I was actually just thinking that was literally, that scene is my favorite scene in The Dark Knight, where he lights the pyramid of cash on fire and then, frankly, smack talks the mob. That's my favorite scene in that whole movie. I'm thinking, what I should get a drop. I should get a sound drop for that added to the soundboard.
Yeah, every time the market opens
now.
Every time the market opens, just play that.
Yeah. Yep.
And then if you have a losing trade, I'm only burning my half.
This city needs a higher class of criminal, and I'm going to give it to him. It's so good. That movie is so good. R.I.P. Heath Ledger.
Yeah, Jay, I think that's because the software just got absolutely hammered, toward the end of 2025, basically following, the end of October. It's, represents a pretty good size corrective move. I think it was like, 30%, 35%, something like that. 35% off the highs. So seemingly attractive again.
Hey, really quick, day trader telling us about the news on SOC being bullish earlier. We had that pre-market pop. We've actually gone above. We didn't go above this wick candle, which looked kind of impulsy, but we are trading back up towards it. And then again, if we flip over to the daily chart on this, this is retesting the recent high area. I swear it is. I know my chart's not loading here, but I swear it is. I was just on it a second ago.
This is the one off of California that we were waiting on that. Some kind, I think it was legislation or something like that, or an executive order. I remember this one. This one has a pretty high short interest. I mean, we're probably seeing a squeeze right now. 30% of the float shorted with how many is it? 6 days to cover.
And remember this, I believe this was 08 Roush stage 3 that was saying that this is definitely going to be good going forward here. And looking all right here today. Here's the daily chart. Thank you, chart, for cooperating. We're right at this. This 1250 looks to really be the spot. See if this moves us to a 14 handle.
Hubs getting mentioned by Jay. We are also Comic-Con geeks. I haven't been to a Comic-Con yet.
I've never been to Comic-Con.
I've been to other conventions. This is not a Comic-Con.
I'm trying to think if I've been to any of those conventions. No.
I'm going to look at Hubs. Okay.
SPY really getting going now.
Don't see any news aside from some Form 4s, so insider transactions most likely. 45 million shares in the float. Company is profitable, has good cash position, balance sheet looks okay. What's the catalyst here for this move? I mean, probably just that it's moving up with software, right? I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, unless there's something specific to it. Let me know.
Wiz says Battle looks like this could go here. Battle also over the past, well, I guess this would be the third day from that impulse move. Battle actually broke this downtrend line and actually looks like it's trying to take out this recent high and move higher towards 20 or above 20, excuse me. Wiz, I'm not in this. I'm not trading this, but this actually does not look bad.
This almost
excuse me, that was Supric. I'm sorry. Your guys' avatars look similar to me. I apologize for making the mistake.
This almost went up to the trend line we drew for it on the daily chart through the highs of the IPO day in 2019 and the high from February 2022. We almost ended up hitting that, but couldn't get up there because they sank our battleship. They had good earnings. Jay, if that's the case, I'm kind of wondering why that didn't show up on my newsfeed. I do not see that on my newsfeed. The last earnings I see that they had was February 11th.
I think that's what he's referring to.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he means that they had it last night.
Oh, no, I guess I just kind of like want to, try to combine the reason why this is moving up today. I thought you were saying it was on earnings. But that was almost a month ago. So I don't know exactly the reason why we're seeing this movement here today.
And then
it's a little bit more of a pronounced move. Sorry, go ahead.
It's quite all right. Jamie Dimon also mentioning Adobe here. This is part of the whole software names, the bounce in IGV, excuse me. And then you're doing ADBG, which is your levered ADBG. So I take it you don't think this is going to zero, which I guess some folks, kind of panicked about AI. It's going to ruin some of these software businesses, Adobe, blah, blah, blah. So S&P futures did move through that VWAP. That impulse candle finally took a break here. It's trading back down. It's still above the VWAP. I'll tell you what, a back test and hold of that VWAP may pave the way for higher on S&P futures.
Let's see, who was this? Billy mentioning Guidewire, GWRE. This company has it put in a bottom last month. Coming off that bottom now, made its way through the 20-day SMA on the toward the end of the month in February. Now we're coming up to the 50-day SMA. We're finding resistance there. So interesting spot to be in because they have earnings after the market closes today. what do we end up getting with this? There's a little bit of a concern with the run-up into earnings. Hopefully we don't end up having a sell the news event. Although it would kind of be interesting to see the price get rejected at the 50-day SMA and get some support down around 140, and then later on make its way through the 50. Don't know what to expect with this company. Another software name, cloud-based solutions. I don't have a whole lot on this because I haven't looked at it, but nice price action today. What's your expectation for earnings, Billy?
And then Jamie here, I'm just trading the trend on Adobe. Okay, fair enough. Well, you're in the right side of it then if you're trading the trend. Been using it my whole life and professionals love it. You know how many times when I was younger, I saved someone that was older than me because they could not figure out how to open a PDF? I am so familiar with Adobe because I was the guy that people call, Ryan, I got this file. I can't open it. Help. Okay, I got you. No problem.
So, obviously we're seeing a big reversal in the IGV this week, and all the names that we were doom and gloom about, they're all turning around. So everything that we were looking at, that we were concerned about, is something we should still be looking at and watching and maybe even trying to trade. We've looked at a number of stocks. One that we haven't talked about yet is Intuit, INTU. That also reversing because this is one of the names that got hit with the fear of that because AI could replace tax accounts.
Shout out to Anne Marie. If you recall, Anne Marie gave out an option trade on Intuit that paid fat. I can't remember exactly what the legs of it were, but I remember that being one of the big winners that we had talked about. And don't forget, we'll follow up with Anne Marie tomorrow.
And I would also imagine that PayPal is doing a little bit better. It certainly is.
Although it's up higher today. Yep.
I have reservations about this doing well beyond 50. I think this company has a lot of other problems, but we'll see what happens at 50. There's also the 50-day SMA just above that at 51.
TTD pulled back from that opening rush, but I actually think this is quite all right. TTD is still up 21% on the back of that insider buy. So this actually, not breaking down here. I would be concerned if this really started to give it up. So far, TTD looking strong.
Well, remember, we also are getting that resistance from the 50-day SMA
exactly.
that we've been writing down. So if this does come in some more, looking for support around the 28, 29 area, maybe we go all the way down to the 20-day SMA for support. But I get the sense that we're coming down into some support pretty soon. And yeah, so PayPal. What are some other software names that we were looking at that were getting hammered last month?
Microsoft. Remember Microsoft? One of the things that we talked about was that was actually kind of showing some relative strength first. So maybe we should look at Microsoft.
Yeah, and I don't remember how long it was. It must have been a week or two. But I was mentioning how this may not have a whole lot lower to go. I'm still thinking that could be the case. I need to see this get back above 420, though. We should see wisdom appear soon. So that's what I'm waiting for here with Microsoft. There's still some levels I want to see recaptured. It's nice that this is like the third day above the 20-day SMA. So good sign there, but still want to see some of these levels hold up. I don't want to see just an immediate reversal and the loss of the 20-day SMA again.
Okay, Now was another one. That's a good mention here, Retro. This is another one of those software names that got absolutely shellacked. This is in a gap, too. This gap fills up at 129.
Oh, fine job, Jay. Yeah, Velo taking off. 1323 now the high. Let me see here. On the
That's a 30% move on that, Jay. Nice job.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to probably run into a little bit of resistance. I mean, I think this can still push higher, but I'm really questioning what happens around 1450. And then Buzz Lightyear saying financials looking weak. We also will look at Turb Al in just a moment, but financials looking weak. This is Brian. Remember me saying look at the XLF yesterday?
I'm sorry, I don't remember that.
At happy hour yesterday, I said look at XLF. This thing losing the 20-month SMA. If we can't recapture it, I think this is giving us an indication that financials are going to come back in. Interestingly enough, we do have the FOMC meeting coming up on the 18th and 19th. And we're kind of leaking into that event. I'm wondering if there's going to, and we do have some folks that believe this, but I'm wondering if that is going to have a significant impact on financial markets. This is going to be the first FOMC meeting where we get the 2026 projection materials, including the dot plot rate path.
Good old dot plot.
W Day was a clue on the software as a service. First one to reverse. That's what Jay Rice is mentioning. So I believe it, because this one also one of the among the hammered. Let's see. I'm just going to start cycling through some of these other.
I'm looking around here. I actually don't see anything great setup wise, but I'm still looking.
Mobax trying to recapture the VWAP.
It's holding pretty steady here at 21.
Paladine still climbing its way back up to where it was trading earlier this morning. It's going to need some more time to get up to 11, but it's still making its way up there. Same thing with GXAI. This looks like it wants to come back up to 250.
Yeah, this GXAI has been good.
Yeah. Alto still trying to push through the that 405, 410 area. It looks like there's a seller in the way at 410. I'm not sure about Alto. I think I'd be careful with this one. Maybe raise your stops. It's looking like it's really struggling with the 405 area here.
Battle going higher. That was a good call, Supric. It did. That took the high out. You had to be patient there, but that did work.
So Turb, now that hit my trend line. You hit yours first. Now it hit mine.
So both trend lines were good.
We're both right, Ryan. We can both be right, can't we?
Yes, right. Absolutely.
So we both got that right of the trend line. So it's interesting though, because your trend line indicated the area of the first pullback. And once we broke through it, my trend line is the second area. Oh man, we got to start coming up with our own trend lines.
We do.
No, I mean like for the first and second. I mean, it could be risky, but it's interesting how your trend line indicated the first move up, and then after we retreated, found our footing, and came back up, my trend line was the second one. Just interesting. And we're still
trend
trying
lines,
to get
baby.
That. Yeah, trend lines. We need a shirt.
Trend lines, baby.
275. That's the spot to get over. We did hit 292 in the pre-market, so not out of the realm of possibility. And wouldn't you know it, the largest size of concentration of sellers here is going to be up at 274, right at that area. Right at that area. AMPX also knocking on the door of 15 again.
Buffalo by Bicycle. This is a good question, and I like this because this is for a potential swing trade. I know we talk a lot about day trading setups and all of that here. Buffalo by Bicycle saying, does anyone like Home Depot or Lowe's for a spring season trade? Now, I'm trying to recall. I don't have my seasonality tool in front of me. I'm trying to recall, but I believe that this has positive seasonality that starts in the middle of March, and it kind of corresponds with the rest of the broader market. And so an interesting question, because maybe we start the next uptrend here. I actually have a series, going back to November of last year, I actually have a series of higher lows, and it looks like we're trying to maybe change the direction here. Home Depot down 1% here today. I would watch this right here. I would say if this thing can hold above 360 for the next week, that would make. I think I could be on board for that.
I would. I know that there are going to be people that are going to be doing their gardening and they're preparing for the summer and the spring and all that. And that typically means more shopping at Lowe's and Home Depot. But I also like to tie in that time with when you start to see home sales. I don't know that we're going to see as many home sales. I'll have to defer to our real estate expert on that one. But if home sales are anticipated to be muted, then I would also think that some of these the price action or the extent of which this can move would also be a little bit muted as well.
Couldn't you also make the case, though, that if people aren't going to buy new homes, they might be more inclined to repair their own home or do a project on their own home?
Yeah, and we do have the refunds coming, so maybe this starts to have better seasonality in April. Once more of those refunds start pouring in. I mean, I don't know. Because I know that when people sell their homes, they really do like to get them cleaned up, stage them,
Yep.
prepare them for open house. So I don't know that we're going to necessarily get as much of that, because I still think that the affordability and the rates issue is still out of reach for a lot of consumers. It's not a bad idea, not at all. I'm just a little bit concerned about how it's going to look, because I think there was this expectation that we may actually start to see some more existing home sales this year with the rate cuts. It seems like if we're going to get rate cuts this year, it's not going to happen until the back half of the year.
Here's a look at Palantir. What we'll do here is we'll look at Palantir and PLTZ, just because we've kind of been talking about this going in both directions. Palantir 156 looks like it's pulling back a little bit, but it's really not breaking down. PLTZ
turbo.
Looking at that here real quick, maybe this is turning around. PLTZ not back above the VWAP though.
Turbo trying to push through my trend line, trying to push through it right now. 292 is the pre-market high. See if we can get through that.
This is good. This is actually really good stuff on Turb here. I know this is kind of a junker. We jokingly call it Turb, but actually some pretty good stuff there. And S&P futures lost the VWAP, tried to recapture and lost it again. And actually intraday, it looks like we have a head and shoulders forming here on the SPY chart. But that's an intraday chart, so let's not get too excited. Joe here saying, how about looking at Rocket? This will be a good long before too long, I think. Might wait for a pullback to the 1570 area. So Rocket, I actually like this. I like this company. Full disclosure, I refinanced my own mortgage using Rocket Mortgage, and I think they are absolutely fantastic. One thing I will say here, sorry, 13, real quick. The one thing I will say here is this is definitely a potential stock to own if housing really starts to increase. I think I like the mortgage originators more in this case. The thing with Rocket is I believe they've got some RESPA violations kind of overhanging the price. And I'm not sure. I'll have to look. I'll have to look into it. I'll ask our expert on the happy hour next time. But I want to see if those are resolved here.
So I'll look at Rocket and AXTI.
Sorry, 13.
I'll look at Rocket and AXTI in just a second. I was just noticing that MDB has been getting beyond some of the resistance levels I was pointing out earlier. We are in gap fill territory on the daily chart.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm not saying that this is going to end up gap filling all the way to 324 or wherever that fills, but we could still see some upside, for a little while longer. I mean, I think if I had to guess, I don't know that we're going to really see much beyond the 290s if we even get up there. But this is a good spot to be in. We're filling a gap right now. All right, let me go over to Rocket. And we'll look at AXTI. So Rocket getting support from the 20-month SMA right now. That's going to be at about 16. So looks like 17 is going to be the spot where we, if we need to recapture that. If we can't, then we probably end up going on to lose or retest 16 again. Let me look at a smaller time frame. That's a monthly chart that I'm looking at here. We're still beneath the 50-week SMA that we lost this week to the downside. So we need to recapture and hold above that. So I guess I would just say, let's see how this week shapes up. If we can't get back above that 50-week SMA, we may end up printing lower next week as well. What was the question regarding Rocket?
He's basically just wondering if this would be a good long before too long, and then also gave some context about 1570 being a decent pullback area for it.
Super
1570 is 5 cents above the 500-day moving average.
Super interesting that he mentions that. That's that's about the low where we went to this current week. 1559 is the low, but for where he's looking at, seems like there's some pretty decent support there. So that I don't know that we're going to get another opportunity unless we can't recapture that 50-day SMA and it sends us lower again. But yeah, I don't think that it's quite the time to start jumping into this yet, but it might not be too much longer if we can recapture some of those levels.
Okay, couple of things to clean up here. First of all, Jesus or Jesus, if that is in fact your name. What time is happy hour? I'm new here. Well, first of all, if you're new here, welcome. Hopefully that you enjoy yourself, and we hope to see you back here. Please smash up that like, subscribe, and also hit that bell for notifications. But to answer your question directly, happy hour is a Benzinga Pro customer only Zoom call that happens between 3 and 4 Monday through Thursday. In other words, you have to be a subscriber of Benzinga Pro, which is the platform that I'm sharing here on the stream, in order to have access to that call. The YouTube show that you're on right now, obviously that's free. We run that every morning, Monday through Friday, as long as the market is open. But the happy hour call is specific to Benzinga Pro members, and it runs 3 to 4. The other thing I wanted to clean up here, Jay says the home builder stocks are a lot cheaper than Rocket. So Jay, you like the home builders more so than mortgage origination?
Might actually be better. I mean, I don't think Home Depot's going through some litigation. I mean, they probably are, but not like what Rocket's dealing with right now. So I'm just looking at AXTI right now because I said I would. This thing has got a lot of insider selling, and it's not hard to see why. It's been an absolute rocket ship to the upside. You look at a monthly chart, this thing is parabolic, and now we are in the first month of red since the same month last year. So I'm thinking that for me, I'm not a buyer up here, not at this extended price. Monthly RSI is 94. If there's going to be a spot to buy this, if you think this is going higher, I think I'd probably wait for 30.
I'm sorry, which one are you looking at? I got
AXTI.
AXTI.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I just don't know that I'm a buyer of this one. I mean, it seems like it's been having some great moves, so it must be doing something right here. Let's see what this single element semiconductor substrates, wafers. Okay, so this. Sorry, I'm just kind of reading that.
It's okay. Let me answer a question while you're reading that.
Sure.
Jesus saying, I'm currently on Robinhood. Where could I go for more serious stock trading? I'm new to it all. Well, okay, there are other brokers that you could select, but I don't use Robinhood, but I'm just going to throw this out there. I know plenty of folks that are considered serious traders that do use Robinhood. Some folks have multiple brokers. I don't think that's going to limit you. I would say the big thing that you should do is probably focus on fundamentals education. Learn what's important for a stock. Learn what some of these different numbers mean. And if you really like charts, like some of us do here, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of like technical analysis, chart reading lessons that you can get probably for free online. You can start with YouTube. So I don't know that you necessarily need to change your broker in order to be serious. I think this is more going to be about your own knowledge and your own plan and your ability to plan.
So to wrap up AXTI, company needs to see some positive EPS here pretty soon. We just had earnings last month. They reported that they had an 8-cent EPS loss, which was in line with expectations, and they also slightly missed on earnings, but they guided about a little bit lower than what the expectation was, but still it wasn't bad in the eyes of investors. Apparently, it's still been taken off. I don't think I'm a buyer of this right now, but I think this would be interesting to take another look at once it comes back in towards 30.
Okay, INDI, this is one that we had mentioned recently. This thing got slammed on earnings, but looks like it's kind of up off the low. I wanted to highlight this comment here because this actually is relatable AF. Day Trader says, I like the studies and styles and charting as well as the options with Schwab/Thinkorswim. This is what really drew me to Thinkorswim. When I signed up for my Thinkorswim account, this was still owned by TD Ameritrade and not Schwab. But the same deal, the studies, the charting. I wasn't into options at the time, but as I got into options, I was very, very fortunate that I used Thinkorswim because it's excellent for that. I chose to house my brokerage account with TD Ameritrade because of the Thinkorswim platform. And I believe that you can just download it and try it paper trading for free still. And so if you were looking to change, that might be a good place to start. A lot of us here use Thinkorswim, you'll notice.
So real quick here, because I was looking at AXTI for CW Parker. So you're saying with the AXTI, the consolidation, because you're referring to the Darvis box theory. The consolidation was basically once we got into this range back in the beginning of the year, that took us sideways from about the 16s to the 26s, and then we just broke out of that. Is that kind of what you're looking at here? Which is fine, but right now this thing is just too extended for my liking.
This is good stuff. MTK says they make you put $500 to participate in the paper trading on Thinkorswim. That was not the case when I signed up. You would sign up, you'd get an account. The paper trading account was in fact delayed. But if you reached out to them, they'd give you real time. And then, like you were saying, if you funded an account, they would give you real time. I would imagine, since he already has a Robinhood account, this is a non-issue, because if you end up moving your account over there, you don't have to trade your real money. If you change brokers, one of the things that I recommend to people, if you change brokers, please practice first, so that if something big happens and you're just in a moment where it's like, I need to do something, that you actually know how to do it. You're not fumbling around with the platform. There is no worse feeling than that. I guess I haven't experienced this, but I guess if you can't close your position because of some error, that would be worse. But yeah, just some food for thought there.
Take care, Judge.
Take care, Judge.
And then thinking about it.
Wow, we had fun today. We're almost out of time.
Thinking about it, yes, I still own AMPX, though. When we hit 15 today, I trimmed. So I have less position right now. I'm in at 1105. So this was, I took some of this, held it because, I like this company. I like the battery theme. I thought this one was going to be good. We're seeing that right now. I want to add more, but I would like to wait for this to come back in a little bit. But AMPX, one of my more favorite battery plays for the drones.
Yeah, this was a really good call too. I feel like you were early on this name, and that was sweet.
I think I was a little late, but I found it. I mean, and here's why, because we had already started talking about this and looking at this when it was already. I mean, look, we've been up here before. This is about where it was in October before we started selling off and went lower. So every time that this comes like down, under 11 or around 11, I tend to take a closer look at it. If it goes under 10, it's probably even a better buy. Yeah. But there's a bit of a trend line here that we just moved through. So if we hold above it, then I'm not sure how much of a opportunity I'm going to get at lower prices. So just kind of waiting and see what happens up here. But this was a bit of a trimming area here for me, being that this is we had resistance up here previously.
GXAI, by the way, this pulled but did get bought back above its 50. This might not be over here for the day.
That's consolidating, looking like that. Go to like a 15-minute and see how that looks, because it looks like this could be compressing into a bull pennant.
You're right. And we still have an unmitigated fair value gap, which, by the way, is generated off that 15-minute chart.
So we'll see.
Okay. All right. So we're almost out of time here, and it looks like maybe this early part of the day was in fact bull trappy. Here's what the SPY looks like. So we were talking recently about the S&P futures taking out the VWAP, but boy, oh boy, it broke down beneath it and it has continued and actually set some new day lows here. 680, a resistance spot there for sure on SPY. So we'll see if we hold that. But we actually had some recent lows that were lower than that. I have that down to 675, and I think we even printed 670, didn't we? Yes, we actually printed 669. That was the day where the market that was what, Monday, I think, where we got pounded and then bounced hard.
I haven't seen any news that's causing this big move down at 10 o'clock right on the dot. But
that's kind of why I felt like it was bull trappy, right? We had some of this bullish action early and it was met with selling.
Well, here we are down near 680. This has been a support area we'll see if it provides that support.
And we'll sign off with this here. Indeed, Jay Diamond was right here today when he said earlier, this would be a good time to look at PLTZ. That was right when it was near the bottom. So far, so good. So far, so good. We'll see if that holds up. All right, 13. We are out of time here for today. A really good Thursday that I feel like flew by. I mean, flew by. Big 13. Big 13. Any closing words for the group?
Fun day today, folks. Lots of things worked out. Had some really good movers, some pretty good trades. Let's just let's say thank you to the market. Put our money in our pockets. Come back tomorrow. Let's do it all over again and close out the week. Have a good rest of your Thursday. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Goodbye. 13,
really good stuff. We will see you here tomorrow. We're going to highlight this comment too. 8 to 10:30 is my favorite part of the day. We will take that all day. Absolutely awesome. Appreciate all of you. It was a fun day. You folks made it fun. Really good stuff here again today. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll catch you tomorrow here on Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. Take care, everybody.